Teva Pharmaceuticals. But Gap is going the other way. Shares are down 10% in pre-market trading. The apparel chain posted disappointing results, a sign the company's much-vaunted springtime comeback has not materialized. Overall same-store sales in April fell 7% at Gap. At Old Navy, the decline was 10%. S&P futures are up 8 points. Dow futures are up 58. And one more check of crude oil, now at $43.64 a barrel. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
We'll do it live.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London.
We'll do it live.
1120 KPNW.
This is boring as burnt toast.
See, this would be our music if we had a parade to go in and out of the streets of Eugene and Springfield with our parade, with our marching band, our dancing men and women, acrobats, clowns. Actually, no clowns. I think clowns freak people out. We'll work on it. Hey, good morning to you. Sunny and fairly hot today, fairly warm, 78 degrees when all is said and done. Clear in 45, and then more sunshine throughout the week. 44 degrees at KPNW. We're toasting the stream.
Mm-hmm. Hello, stream. It's locked on you, kind of looking down your nose at something. I don't understand what the deal is with your camera.
I kind of like it, actually.
You won't like this one.
I want to look at it.
Yeah, don't. It's not good.
It's not good.
Anyway, you started to say.
I have no idea. How far did I get?
You just got past.
Oh, well, we were talking about the toasting the stream.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's two different parts of your newscast. I guess one I'll start just because we talked about it yesterday, and the whole idea that you got to be really looking at some poor stats and some poor regulations to find any place worse than Oregon to do business.
Well, we're 39th. There's 11 other states that suck more than we do.
That's what I'm saying.
California is. So.
That's what I'm saying. I really thought we were talking about it, I was thinking, okay, we're going to be, 48th, 47th? I mean, thankfully, I think one of the specs of the
livability.
Yeah,
livability. We're 15th. But it makes you ask the question, and I wasn't able to find it. But it makes you wonder what's number one for livability. I mean, all things considered, Oregon, livability-wise, in terms of just looking around. Aesthetics beauty. You don't get any better, really, unless you're living in Alaska. I think Alaska is the only state I feel that is prettier than Oregon. Just because the mountains are bigger, the rivers are wider, there's more of them, and it's just, there's something about, if you've ever been to Alaska, you get it.
Having talked to people that lived up there for a good length of time,
it's not an easy place.
The livability factor, I think, with what you see, would be trumped by what you go through.
Well, yeah, like they have mosquitoes that are the size of eagles.
Is that right?
And the mosquitoes are huge.
Wow.
And relentless. And you can see the clouds coming. It's just, they're awful.
Worse than the South?
Yeah, it's bad. Well, they don't do any mosquito control in Alaska. And you consider that there's a lot of water in Alaska everywhere. It's not good. It's
good if you're a mosquito.
Yeah. If you've ever been over to Christmas Valley, Eastern Oregon, around Paisley, where they have the annual mosquito festival, okay, imagine that times about 8. Now, I went over there one time. Brady and I were over there, and you could hear the mosquitoes coming. We were staying over at a friend's. They have like a little duck cabin over there, just a single wide trailer, and we got out that morning and we were getting ready to go tooling around, and you could hear the mosquitoes coming. It was the craziest thing ever. I mean, you hear the high-pitched whee, and then the next thing you know, you're just engulfed. Well, Alaska, multiply that. It's crazy. Crazy bad.
Not good.
Anyway, other story?
It'll be curious, just an addendum to kind of finish up. It'll be interesting to see where we're at in, say, 2 years after
IP28?
Well, I mean, several. That, there's some variables. I think if you're a business owner,
well,
you have written on your wall in crayon. I mean, from
mandatory sick
sales
leave
tax and sick leave. I mean, it's.
I don't think that large businesses are going to be complaining about the. I have a theory. I don't think they're going to be complaining about the minimum wage too much. The larger businesses. I'm talking about the bigger businesses, the big ones. And the reason for that is, if you follow the trail, it was supported. Businesses, or at least the associated, what is that? I'm trying to remember the name of the business association. One of the big business associations here in Oregon was in favor of it, of raising it, of what the legislature did. And you have to ask yourself, well, why would they be in favor of that? What do they have to gain from it? What they have to gain from it is they're able to essentially winnow out competition. All right? So think about it. Anybody that's put a business together knows that the first few years of starting a business are the toughest in terms of money, logistics, putting a staff together, all the things that go along with doing a business. The first few years are the most crucial ones. And generally, they're working behind the eight ball the entire time. And a lot of times, they're not even profitable. All right, they're fronting their own money, or if they have an investor, it's the investor's money, but they're generally not working at a profit. This just makes it all that much harder for a startup to get a foothold. I mean, what this has really done, and it occurred to me, well, this is why. I mean, why would any business support increasing costs? Well, if it was going to reduce competition. Now, they can, the larger ones, the larger businesses can afford to absorb that. And because they're large, it makes it easier for them to pass it along to the consumer. If you're just a guy that's just starting business and you've got high prices, people are going to look at it and go, I don't know you that well. I don't know you well enough to miss you if you're gone. Now, that's my conspiracy theory. But I really do think there is something to it. And IP28, okay, if you're not familiar with that one, that's the 2.5% gross receipts tax, right? Notice I said gross receipts.
And everybody that talks about it says that. That's the first thing gross? Gross. Oh.
Yeah, not net, gross. So based on everything you make, not your net. And it's a 2.5% tax. Now, most folks go, oh, well, 2.5%, that's not much. You know what the margin is for the average grocery store? Around 2%. Yeah, so they're going to be taxed more than their actual profit margin. So how do you think that's going to get paid for? And it's not just on the grocery store. It's on the people that are shipping to the grocery store. It's on the people that are supplying the products to the grocery store, that are supplying to the products to the people that are supplying the products to the grocery store. I mean, what this is a humongous sales tax disguised as something else. That's all it is. It's a sales tax. Anyway, it's 6:37. Next guest coming up, or first guest coming up, here on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Keep District Attorney Patty Perlow fighting to protect you. District Attorney Patty Perlow is fair and honest. Before becoming District Attorney, Patty Perlow's tenacity put in prison a former law enforcement deputy who had raped his teenage daughter. As District Attorney, Patty Perlow fights crime and saves taxpayers' money by winning grants to safeguard U of O students, to enforce child support decisions, and to protect victims and witnesses. That's why District Attorney Patty Perlow has won support across the political spectrum, including the Safety and Justice Action Fund, the Lane County Peace Officers Association, the Eugene Police Employees Association, and Sheriff Byron Trapp.
I'm Lane County Sheriff Byron Trapp. I need Patty Perlow in the District Attorney's Office to continue her important work for our community and law enforcement.
Paid for by Keep District Attorney Patty Perlow Committee.
Ladies, mark your calendars for May 26th. Enjoy an evening of fun, fashion, and friends at the Head to Toe Women's Expo, brought to you by the Corvallis Clinic. Unwind, shop, and learn from a variety of featured boutiques, home goods shops, healthcare centers, and local businesses. Get free health tips and screenings in the Corvallis Clinic Corner. The Head to Toe Women's Expo, May 26th at the OSU Alumni Center. Sponsored by the Laura Gillott Home Team with Keller Williams Mid-Willamette, Samaritan Plastic Surgery Clinic, OSU Alumni Center, and this station.
Sun Automotive is proud to sponsor the Northwest edition of Lars Larson. Sun Automotive, with locations in Eugene and Springfield, reminds you, stay safe on the road, keep your car well maintained, and don't text and drive. Sun Automotive.
Sid Lycan knows how to overcome challenges and find the solutions.
He just has such a heart for the community and for people.
We need someone who can come in on day one and take charge.
Sid has a small business background, and he understands what has to happen to move the economy forward.
He's been extremely effective locally, first as a mayor, then as a county commissioner.
He brought over $1 billion worth of private sector money.
Better economy for the citizens in our community, and it gave them the hope that they could raise a family.
When I was first elected to the Lane County Board of Commissioners, we streamlined. We went from 14 departments to 9. We went from 7 separate health care plans to 2. We've been able to save millions of dollars on an annual basis because of that.
I proudly support.
And I stand proudly behind Sid Lycan.
Sid Lycan.
Sid Lycan for Secretary of State.
I'm Sid Lycan, and I'm running to be your next Secretary of State, and I need your support. Thanks.
Paid for and authorized by Sid Lycan for Oregon.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out in the next few minutes, it's on the chilly side. Temps right now are in the mid to low 40s out there, only about 10 degrees above freezing. We do have a little bit of light fog as well. I expect that to burn off by about 11 a.m. and mostly clear skies, light winds out of the north. Now this afternoon, high pressure looks to move in across the region, and that's going to dominate, keeping the skies clear, but there's a side effect. It's going to dramatically shoot the temps up. Most highs look to be in the upper 70s, if not mid 80s, and over the next couple of days, some of us could even reach the low 90s. Now this high pressure looks to stick around for about 3 days, and a storm system will move up the coast, bringing a chance of thunderstorms Friday night and showers in for your Saturday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day out there.
Real news, not the fake stuff.
Britney Spears makes no apologies.
The morning wake-up call with Holloway in London on 1120 KPNW.
News Radio, 1120 KPNW. I think if I were going to make some sort of analogy to what the Republican Party has put on display this particular political season, it almost reminds me of what it's like backstage at community theater, where it is just all of these just flamboyant personalities sort of inadvertently clashing with each other and then advertently clashing with each other, and to the point of it's more entertaining to watch what's going on behind the curtains than it is in front of it. To talk a little bit about that this morning, political strategist, author of Ladies, Can We Talk? America Needs Our Vote, Debbie Georgatos on the Wake Up Call. Debbie G., thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. So now it's back to Speaker Paul Ryan. I get the feeling that Ryan just kind of wishes that he could fade into the background and let everybody else just kind of have their fist fight on the playground. He is the guy that is the convention chairman. And he's now saying that, look, hey, whatever you guys want, if you don't want me to be the chairman of the National Convention, I'm good with that. If Trump doesn't want me, no problem. I'll walk away happily. What do you make of it? I mean, I just look at it and go, God, these guys can't avoid drama to save their lives.
I love your analogy a moment ago about the backstage community theater. This has been, and I really don't think other election cycles in recent modern memory are like this. It's been the most convoluted, bizarre factions of people joining together, and I think to me, it all stems back to the anger at the GOP to start with, as it seems to have lost its ideological core. People say, what does the GOP stand for? Because they say they stand for things, but then they don't. And so that anger welled up in the American people, and they came up with a true outsider. And so Paul Ryan, who's now serving as Speaker of the House and was brought in with a lot of hopes about he would restore conservatism, restore the identity of the GOP, and he seemed to be, falling off the rails pretty quickly and kind of going along with the GOP establishment. I think Paul Ryan is really kind of a symbol of the confusion of the identity of the Republican Party, because I think this whole thing with the convention chair thing, I think Paul Ryan's honestly not comfortable with Donald Trump, doesn't understand what he stands for. I think most American people, beyond a few specific issues, don't understand what Donald Trump stands for. The party feels lost. I think what you really hear from Paul Ryan is, I don't know what this party is, and he's not all that excited about being a Trump supporter because he doesn't know what Trump stands for.
Well, all right, but he has a job. The job is to be the chair of the Republican National Convention. I mean, at least professionally, you would think the guy would do his job and would say, okay, this is the nominee, so we support the nominee, and leave it at that. I mean, it's not really his job or anyone else's to define the candidate. It's the candidate's job to define the candidate.
Yeah. There's a meeting coming up in Washington on Thursday. It is Reince Priebus, the head of the GOP, and Speaker Paul Ryan and Donald Trump. And, they're going to try to smooth things over. My guess is they probably will at that meeting at least smooth things over to the extent of saying, we have to unite to stop Hillary, and we can all agree on that at least. But I don't think Paul Ryan, he doesn't have a lot of leverage going into this meeting with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is swept the primaries, pushed 16 other people out. So I think, Donald Trump's kind of gotten the leadership position, and I don't think Paul Ryan has much to negotiate. He either salutes or salutes to the party, but I think what Paul Ryan is trying to hold on to, but what about principle? What about ideas? Who are you? And I think at the end of the day, he'll decide, you know what, you're the guy we have to beat Hillary. But I think what you're hearing Paul Ryan saying is a lot of what GOP voters feel the same way. Who is this person, this guy, who swept these primaries? What is he going to do with our country?
Well, I think there's maybe a portion of them that are questioning that, but you've got to keep in mind, you just said, he's swept through the primaries, so there's a goodly amount of Republicans that feel they pretty much know what he's about. I mean, I went to one of his campaign stops here just last Friday, and you walk around the audience that's there and you ask them what it is that they like about Trump. They're pretty specific about it. They don't like the fact that they don't like political correctness. They like the fact that he's not politically correct. One guy summed it up. He goes, he's going to build a wall. I mean, they come in pretty much specifically knowing why they support him.
Yeah, I think that Donald Trump was very sage early in the campaign, tapping into some of the issues that are, as you'd say, they're politically correct positions that people are kind of tired of having the GOP go along with, one being the southern border and out-of-control immigration, the other being the danger to America of continuing to bring potential terrorists here as refugees. So I think those are big issues that no one would say, and he said, and so people like that. I don't think there is an endless well of anger against the establishment for Donald Trump to tap into. I think he's going to have to start, now that he's moving from one of the stage of 16 down to 2, down to 1, to the actual presumptive nominee. He's going to have to start spelling things out that are more specific. I mean, those things were great that he did, and that's why people got behind him. But I still think there's all this concern about where he would stand on big issues facing America. Does he understand that the among the main things that the GOP primary voting base got stirred up about, the whole Tea Party came from, was this idea of limiting federal government, reducing the power of the federal government, bringing taxes down, bringing power back to the states. The Christian voters, can he respond to their concerns? He's got to meet the concerns of more voters than just the deeply angry GOP primary voters.
But don't you think there's a lot of other people out there that just aren't Republicans that are deeply angry?
I do, and I think he actually did. And that's another whole thing. It's so interesting. It's just a unique campaign cycle. He did bring in Donald Trump to his primary voting base. He had, it was over, I don't forget the numbers, but in Pennsylvania, a large number of people who switched party affiliation to be able to vote for him, to be able to vote on the GOP side. So he's brought some Democrat voters in. He's brought some kind of non-voting people who had not paid attention to politics. So he has a new and very eclectic collection of voters who supported him. And if they're enough to carry him in the fall, I don't think so. I think he's got to make some bridges to the groups that are usually the strong turnout voters in the fall elections for the GOP. I think he's got to start focusing on them and proving his conservative strength, his conservative identity. I mean, that's what GOP anti-establishment is supposed to be conservative.
I wonder at times, and I realize it would be almost prohibitively expensive and a Herculean task, but I've thought on a number of occasions that we're almost at a point, I think, in our history as a country where a third party with some thought and a bunch of money could probably gain a pretty good foothold.
You know, I'm sure you may have been talking with your listeners about this, but there's a movement among some of the leaders, some of the conservative thought leaders, to say now is the time to either run a third-party candidate or run an alternative Republican in this year's presidential race, just with the notion that there's no one really representing the conservative views. I think that is, I think you have to be willing to say, to do that you can live with a Hillary Clinton victory in the fall, live through 4 years and perhaps 8 years, in order to build a new movement for a new party. It always sounds dangerous to me. I don't want 4 more years of Barack Obama, so I feel alarmed about that. But I do feel like this is a time for the GOP to really turn inward and say, what is it we stand for, and why are the voters so mad at us? Because a lot of it is, it's not that they don't say they stand for the right things, it's that they don't act on them. And I think the GOP could use a little fear factor of a potential third party to cause them to really get back in touch with their voters and with conservative ideas.
Debbie, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All right, take care. Debbie Georgatos on the Wake Up Call this morning, News Radio, 1120 KPNW. I thought for a while, it surprises me, because there are so many people, even people, Democrats, Republicans, that are so irritated with their respective parties. And it surprised me that, maybe it doesn't surprise me, because like I said, it would be, number one, a Herculean task. The logistics would be mind-boggling. And the amount of money that it would take to do it. I mean, it would take a huge amount of money. And the second thing, if you're going to start a new party, I mean, consider, for instance, logistically. Okay, it's more than just, okay, we're going to put a presidential candidate out there. Libertarians have been doing that for years, and we can see how well they pulled that off so far. So it's more than putting a president out there. You have to be able to, in each and every state, put people that are electable in positions to become, for instance, U.S. representatives. You know, every 2 years you go through that election cycle. So you've got to be able to put people in those positions and fund a run. And particularly if you're trying to take an incumbent out who has generally, I mean, you look at a DeFazio who has a massive war chest, that's going to be expensive. Same with Senate races. You know, it would be really expensive. Incredibly expensive. And like I said, logistically, I mean, you would have to be so on game to make it work. It would be, as I said, a Herculean task, but at one point you have to ask, when does this just all fall apart? Because nobody seems happy with the way that it is. I don't know of anyone who says, "Oh, I love the way things are. This is perfect. This is the way it should be. This is optimal." And rarely do you come across anybody, and I don't care whether you're talking right or left, that says, "Yeah, I feel like my opinions and the way that I think the world should be is being represented." Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
If they do go third party, they cannot just keep the cast. I think that's one problem, that if you point to the GOP, I mean, Mitt Romney, I mean,
oh man,
you need to expand the cast of characters where it's not just the same people that have already lost, and people have already said, yeah, you're a nice person, but not so much. If they do go to a third party, it's got to be fresh and innovative, and where people go, this is a breath of fresh air and not retreads.
Well, Mitt Romney, I mean, because Mitt Romney, there is that rumbling of Mitt Romney potentially running as a third candidate. If Mitt Romney runs, it's all about his ego. Totally about his ego. Because he's already a loser. He lost what should have been a winnable election for him. It failed miserably as a campaigner. There's no way that if he becomes this third party or this second party Republican, there's no way he wins. He doesn't even come close. I think everybody at this point pretty much tired of Mitt. Go home, Mitt. Have a nice retirement. Go fishing. Spend time with your 18 kids.
But you hear the same names talked about.
Oh, I know.
And you need to, that didn't work. It didn't electrify the country. That's
the thing.
Retool.
If these people were such good candidates, how come they didn't run during the primaries? Because, they did the math and they knew they'd lose. What makes them think they're going to win now? There's a reason why people, whether you like him or not, there's a reason why people voted for Trump. And they will continue. The people that were for instance, at the rally, they're not voting for anybody else. Guaranteed. There were a few people there. There were a few people like the guy that, a couple of different people that were torn between Trump and Bernie Sanders. And you look at those two and go, what? Simply because they're not what they consider to be insiders. They're not going to vote for insiders. They're not. Period. If there's some thought that, these people are going to see the light once we get into the general election, if there's light to be seen, no. It's not changing. You're not changing their minds. Not the people that have already decided on Trump. You're not changing their minds.
Okay, so maybe it's not president, but maybe you're looking for a different occupation. Coming up in about a half hour, Tammy Brandon joining us. If you have a question that you would like addressed, or a situation, a concern, a poem, 1120kpnw@gmail.com is a way to email it in. Tammy Brandon, instinctivelife.com, coming up in the next hour. Stand by. Beautiful day so far. Abundant sunshine is what it says. 48 degrees currently at 1120 KPNW.
You can't hurry love, but you can hurry down to Three Rivers Casino Resort this May to relive the greatest hits of the 50s and 60s. You guessed it. The Supremes and the Drifters are live in concert May 21st and 22nd in Florence. Tickets are only $14.99 and $19.99. Visit threeriverscasino.com to reserve your seats now. Come make some magic moments at Three Rivers Casino Resort this May. Then, do you feel the need for speed? Race over to Three Rivers Casino and enter our exciting $25,000 Polaris Slingshot giveaway. Earn entries for a brand new Polaris Slingshot now through May 28th in Florence and Coos Bay. Drawing takes place May 28th in Florence, so don't delay. Visit threeriverscasino.com for details. We live life in the fast lane at Three Rivers Casino, where things are luckier here.
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Michelob Ultra is more than a superior light beer. It's taking in all life has to offer, like catching a wave or biking a long trail. And when you're done, you reach for a cold Michelob Ultra. Fewer carbs, fewer calories, more to look forward to. Michelob Ultra. Long live the ultra life. Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra Light Beer, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, to 0 grams fat per 12-ounce serving. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tired of long wait times and high prices at your local boat repair shop? The Boat Dock LLC Marine Repair in Springfield has the fastest turnover. With state-of-the-art test equipment and on-site test tank, the jobs are done right the first time. From simple tune-ups and water pumps to complete repowers on all types of marine power boats, the Boat Dock LLC is the shop to visit at 1252 30th Street in Springfield. A Better Business Bureau accredited business. Visit their website at eugeneboatrepair.com. That's eugeneboatrepair.com.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are rising in early trading, advancing for a third day as commodity shares rebound this morning. Right now, the Dow is up 119 points at 17,824. The S&P 500 is ahead 11, or about 0.5% at 2069. And the Nasdaq is up 15 points at 4766. Crude oil is higher by almost 1.5%, just over $44 a barrel this morning. But Lumber Liquidators is down 12%. The company reported a first quarter loss that was bigger than what analysts were expecting, showing that allegations it sold tainted flooring continue to dog the chain. And Gap is down about 12%. The retailer posted disappointing results. Gap also owns Banana Republic and Old Navy stores. Amazon.com is going to allow you to post videos to its website and earn money from advertising, royalties, and other sources, putting the company in more direct competition with Google's YouTube. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. The anti-establishment message is resonating with this voter in West Virginia.
The corruption over the last 30 years is just a little bit too much to take.
He used to work at a coal-fired power plant.
I just can't see voting for either Hillary or Bernie.
Bernie Sanders hoping to win a 19th state, but he's hundreds of delegates behind Hillary Clinton, who's less than 200 away from clinching the Democratic nomination. So is presumptive GOP nominee Donald Trump, as Republicans vote in West Virginia and Nebraska, a week after Trump's last two rivals dropped out. In three key swing states, it's a tight race between Trump and Clinton or Trump and Sanders in a new Quinnipiac poll. Trump has a 4-point edge over Clinton in Ohio, but either Democrat edges him out in Florida, and Sanders would have the biggest margin, 6 points ahead of Trump in Pennsylvania. President Obama will become the first sitting U.S. president to visit Hiroshima, the first city hit by an atomic bomb. He'll go later this month during a visit to Japan and Vietnam. A deadly storm system is headed east after tearing across the plains. Fox Radio's Jeff Manasso, live in our Midwest Bureau.
Lisa, the National Weather Service says almost 24 tornadoes were reported across 5 states yesterday, destroying homes and flipping cars, even flooding areas from Nebraska to Texas, with most of the damage in Oklahoma.
I had a hold of the door, but you can feel that whole house shaking and rumbling.
You never think it's going to touch you, but it does. And we're here just to start rebuilding.
These people near Oklahoma City, where we're told 2 deaths are blamed on the storms, with more severe thunderstorms possible today from the plains to the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. Lisa.
Jeff laid word that U.S. Special Ops forces are part of a hostage rescue in Afghanistan that's freed the son of Pakistan's former prime minister. Also reports that 4 enemy combatants were killed. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Spring into camping at the RV Corral. New Winnebago trailers from $16,995. New Hideout trailers from $14,995. And the new Cougars from only $21,995. Check out Lane County's best selection of Winnebago Class A's and C's. Allegro by Tiffin, the Sunseeker lineup. And now RV Corral is the new dealer for Fleetwood Motorhomes. New or used toy hauler, trailer, fifth wheel, diesel or gas. Think award-winning RV Corral, Highway 99 or RVCorral.com. Why go anywhere else?
ALS is a tough disease to fight. Relentlessly progressive, we have no therapy for it. And virtually everyone who gets the disease ultimately succumbs to it. How do we stop this? How do we break through ALS? The ALS Therapy Alliance has been instrumental in discovery and treatment. The issue is being willing to take risks where we think there's a very high payback. We are a team of fighters. Randy is a fighter. Help us break through ALS.
Thank you. Turned into an opening rally on Wall Street. Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
Lisa, right now the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 150 points. All 10 sectors are trading to the upside, led by energy, telecom, and financials. Dow up 150 at 17,856. The Nasdaq up 21. The S&P 500 up 14. We have winners and losers. Gap is down 11% after a sales miss. Amazon moves to a new high, as does McDonald's, Home Depot, Johnson & Johnson, and Pepsi. Back to you.
Thanks, Nicole. Oil prices, meantime, climbing back over $44 a barrel. U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch says North Carolina's limits on transgender bathroom choice amount to state-sponsored discrimination.
Now, some of these responses reflect a recognizably human fear of the unknown and a discomfort with the uncertainty of change. But this is not a time to act out of fear.
This as the state and federal government sue each other. North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory says he wholeheartedly supports fighting discrimination, but disagrees with the Justice Department's assertion that the state's law violates the Civil Rights Act. Even for NBA superstar Steph Curry, this one was special.
What a win. What a performance.
He had 40 points overall on TNT and an NBA record 17 in overtime as the Warriors rallied to go up 3-2 on Portland in Curry's return after missing 4 games with a sprained ankle.
And he delivers a performance for the ages here tonight.
There are reports the reigning MVP will be crowned again as soon as today. The Heat, with a comeback win of their own, now tied at 2 games apiece with Toronto. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, Dallas and Nashville each forcing a Game 7. Again, Wall Street, an opening rally underway. The Dow is up 149 points. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
I know if you're not a sports fan, you sit there and you hear the story about Steph Curry, and you're like, I guess that's cool. It is like unbelievable. They were showing him in practice, Steph, who had been nursing an injury and had been out for a while. I mean, NBA basketball, say what you say about some of the personalities and just their pursuits off the court, it'll be pretty quick. You have to be pretty skilled as an athlete to excel. He comes in off the bench and scores 23, airballed his first 3, but then he started to kind of feel it, and you just see him kind of get filled up with that confidence, and to score 17 in OT. I mean, I sit there and I go, could I see Jordan doing something like that? Like, maybe. It's incredible. And, people are going to be talking about it all day. The sports pundits are going to be, going off. And as they should, Portland, they need to put the dagger in and finish a game. Now 2 games that were easily could have been victories had they, I guess not had Steph Curry to deal with last night like they did in Game 3. Coming up, Tammy Brannon from InstinctiveLife.com. That's, her website, talking about occupational and I guess the whole idea, the concept that if you're up against a wall and you keep beating yourself against that same wall, it doesn't have to be like that. Also, Tommy the 12-year-old, as we have our Tuesday connection with Tommy the 12-year-old, our political are we calling him? Our political expert?
Our pundit. He's our pundit.
He's coming in to...
he's ours.
To punt. And news, too.
Yeah, we'll have these stories coming up in just a couple of seconds. Well, the city of Eugene has now officially backed away from that South Willamette special zoning area, but they haven't completely dropped the issue. We'll kind of tell you where they're going with that. We'll also take a look at Val Hoyle. Oh, yeah. In the voters pamphlet, it says that she's going to be representing working Oregonians and not outside big interests. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Those stories and more coming up, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, here on KPNW.
News time 7:08.
Think about all the different types of food we have in the U.S. There's Cajun and Tex-Mex, Northwest cuisine, Southern homestyle, and so on, and each one has a different flair, different staples, and unique dishes. Mexican food is the same way. At Burrito Amigos, you're going to get what's called Baja style. It comes from the northwest corner of Mexico, and a lot of the recipes at Burrito Amigos are family recipes, like the Baja fish tacos with cabbage, white sauce, and real cod. Normally, shrimp burritos at most places are like any other burrito, just with shrimp instead of, say, beef. Well, at Burrito Amigos, their shrimp burritos are also Baja style with the cabbage and the white sauce. You can always taste the difference at Burrito Amigos. And by the way, speaking of Baja style, stop by Burrito Amigos on 24th and Hilliard or on Highway 99 and get coconut shrimp tacos with mango pico de gallo. For the record, yep, tried them, loved them, needed seconds. Always good, always different, always friendly. Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield. I'm Bill London, and I approve this message.
The best real estate market in a decade. Less homes for sale, coupled with low interest rates, get you the top dollar for your house in today's market.
So if you have to sell so that you can buy and you don't want to be without a place, you need to call Eric and Jeanette Harpole with Keller Williams Realty. Really, they're expert negotiators. They specialize in working with their clients that need to sell so they can buy their next home. And if you want to sell within your time frame and get the most money possible, these are the folks.
Obviously, you know that not all agents are the same. In fact, Eric, Jeanette, and their team outsell all other agents in Lane County. The reason? Better marketing, top-notch negotiating, their exclusive enhanced listing program, and unlike other agents, they offer flexible commissions. Hey, if you're not happy, fire them. You are in control.
You can get free information about selling your house this spring or summer. Give them a call, 541-286-3030. That's 541-286-3030. Or just go to harpolehomes.com in Lane or Douglas County.
This is News Radio 1120 KPNW. And we've got the local story in the morning wake-up call.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. The city of Eugene's controversial South Willamette Special Area Zone that would have built high-density, high-rise apartments in single-dwelling residential neighborhoods met an ignominious end last night. The city council voted unanimously to kill the plan and just start over. Outgoing Mayor Kitty Piercy, who supported the plan, now wants to start a new round of talks on what a new land use planning effort should be. She's not willing to let it go. The special area zone was a part of Envision Eugene, a plan by the city of Eugene to cram more people into a smaller area without expanding the actual physical size of the city. In other words, grow up, not out, and grow in. Piercy says that she will convene a forum to hear ideas about South Willamette and how to move forward. One plan, supported by Councilors George Brown and Mike Clark, is to put the stakeholders, namely property owners, business owners, and residents in the area, in charge of the future planning process. The group would develop plans for commercial areas of South Willamette and single-family neighborhoods, shielding them from placing high-density structures in what would be considered traditional neighborhoods. State Representative Val Hoyle is running in the primary for a chance to become your Secretary of State. On Hoyle's voters pamphlet page, which she paid for and authorized, it says, and I'm quoting, "Val will make sure working Oregonians will come first and not powerful special interests." Well, apparently Hoyle isn't working too hard when it comes to that. Hoyle just received $250,000 from New York billionaire Michael Bloomberg. Last year, Hoyle worked for Bloomberg to pass a bill forcing private sellers of guns to go through a background check, something that Bloomberg is trying to ram through legislatures across the country as he attempts slowly but surely to try and do away with Second Amendment rights. Hoyle also received a healthy chunk of out-of-state money from Washington, D.C.-based Emily's List, which backs pro-choice candidates. In that case, $105,000. Now, keep in mind that this $250,000 that she accepted from Michael Bloomberg is one of the largest personal political donations in state history. And while it would be unrealistic to expect Hoyle to refuse massive donations from groups buying her political favors, it does smack as hypocrisy to hold her hand out to powerful special interest groups and then claim she's going to put working Oregonians first. Unless, of course, Michael Bloomberg just got a job in Oregon. The Eugene Police Department plans on making the roads safer for Memorial Day weekend, and what they're going to do is increase Dewey patrols.
In May, Eugene Police will be staffing extra Dewey specialist patrols, and especially around the Memorial Day holiday, and that's so that they have enough staffing in order to identify, stop, and investigate possible Dewey drivers.
Melinda McLaughlin of EPD says the Dewey patrols are not just for holidays. Staffed mostly through funding of state grants, these patrols have caught 54 Dewey drivers so far this year, making a grand total of Dewey arrests made by EPD year-to-date 266. That's up from 257 arrests made the previous year. It was a unanimous decision at the Springfield City Council meeting Monday to appeal ODOT's recommendation not to lower the speed limit on Main Street. The push came more than a year after 3 young children were hit and killed while crossing the road with their mother. It's been nearly a year since the city put in the request to reduce the speed limit on Main Street from 40 miles an hour down to 35. ODOT conducted a pair of speed zone studies in the area to see if a change is needed, but ODOT says that a reduction is not necessary. One study covered 20th Street to South 71st, and another looked at 126 from Main Street. ODOT study shows 83% of crashes in that stretch were not speed-related. They say they found the main factors in pedestrian-involved crashes are visibility issues and distracted drivers. New court documents reveal what Ammon Bundy really hoped to achieve with the occupation of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Brad Ford has the story.
Ammon Bundy didn't want a criminal court fight when he and his group occupied the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. The Oregonian reports court documents filed by his attorneys say he expected to face a civil court battle. They thought the federal government would issue an eviction instead of arresting them on federal charges in criminal court. They continue to claim the federal government doesn't have the constitutional authority to own and control land except in certain circumstances. Brad Ford, KPNW.
A soldier's death in Iraq remains under investigation. 25-year-old First Lieutenant David Bowders of Seattle died Friday at Al-Assad Air Base. His death, non-combat related. Bowders graduated from Forest Grove High and the University of Portland. He served with the Washington National Guard's 176th Engineer Company, which deployed in April. He also was a Washington State Trooper. A 22-year-old McMinnville man reported missing last month near Depot Bay has been found, according to police. Owen Henry Woods was reported missing April 18th, and his family was concerned about his welfare, according to McMinnville police. Police on Monday said he was no longer considered missing. McMinnville police led the investigation with the help of the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. Oregon schools are going to start teaching a new science standard, and they plan to introduce new science tests in 2018. Oregon has begun phasing in the new next-generation science standards, which are used by 18 states and emphasize hands-on learning and cross-cutting concepts such as cause and effect or stability and change. Officials say it's too soon to tell what the tests are going to look like, but the standards move away from memorization. The science standards pair with the state's Common Core test for English language, arts, and math, which debuted last year. Previously, schools used the old Assessment of Knowledge and Skills test for science. The Oregon Department of Education says the delay between the new standards and introducing the tests is typical. Quick action of a pizza delivery driver is getting praise for saving a Salem man's life. Domino's driver Tracy Hamblin called the Marion County Sheriff's Office after not hearing from a regular customer in 11 days. Lieutenant Chris Baldridge says it's because of the regular deliveries that the employee became concerned.
Mr. Hamblin knew that the victim, Kirk Alexander, suffered from multiple medical conditions.
Baldridge says when they got to Alexander's home, they could hear him calling for help. Deputies found Alexander on the floor and got him to a hospital. Hamblin's actions and willingness to help is causing those to sing his accolades.
And just care for another person, and that's always the great stories we like hearing about.
Alexander is hospitalized in stable condition. Marine biologists studying a disease killing sea stars on the West Coast have found a spike in the number of young sea stars. OSU professor Bruce Menji says they think it was caused by adult sea stars dying, which made more food available to the young'uns.
Actually, wasting is still going on. It hasn't gone away, so it's not as severe as it was, but it's still present.
They don't know what ocean condition is causing right now the sea stars to die. Chief Executive Magazine released its annual Best and Worst States for Business survey. The Best and Worst States for Business polls CEOs on a wide range of issues, from growing the talent shortage and skills gap to transforming digitally. The business survey presents individual category rankings, including quality of life, tax policy, workforce quality, best communication of business incentives, as well as rankings simply by region. So you might be asking, I live in this land called Oregon. Where would we rank? Well, 39th in taxation and regulation, 29th in workforce quality, 15th in living and environment, and 39th overall. J.P. Donlan, editor-in-chief of Chief Executive Magazine, explains why Oregon is near to scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Despite the fact that Oregon has a positive working environment, its taxation and regulation regime, certainly for small to medium business, has always been problematic. And that generally drives the state score downward.
CEOs rated Texas as the number one state in which to do business, Florida coming in at number 2, with North Carolina, Tennessee, and Indiana rounding out the top 5. Worst state in the union? California. A woman on a flight from Las Vegas to Portland was arrested for what happened during the flight. Brad Ford has that story.
26-year-old Heidi McKinney of Banks was on Alaska Airlines Flight 621 from Las Vegas to Portland Sunday night. She is accused of touching another woman inappropriately during the flight. Police were waiting as the plane landed and took McKinney into custody after questioning the victim. She is charged with third-degree sex abuse. She's being held on $2,500 bail. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Portland Trailblazers started out fast, blasted out of the gates to an early 16-point lead, but when you're playing the Golden State Warriors, it's a very long game. When it goes overtime, your chances decrease. The game turns longer. Throw in the probable league's MVP, and the Blazers are running out of hopes. Game 4 in Portland with Steph Curry coming off the bench, playing more than he planned after Sean Livingston was ejected, questioning a call a couple of times with expletives. Boy, what a good thing. After airballing one of his first threes, Curry caught fire, scored 23 in regulation, scored a busting 17 in OT to finish with 40 points. This from somebody that they weren't even sure was going to play. Warriors take game 4, 132-125, go up 3-1 over the almost, not ready for primetime Trailblazers. The Blazer tandem Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum combined for 60. Golden State can close things out tomorrow. According to an anonymous tip, Steph will repeat as the NBA's MVP. NFL former Duck Braylon Addison going to try to make the Denver Broncos roster as a returner and a backup receiver. And after 2 impressive seasons, Oregon golfer Aaron Weiss has decided to go pro at the end of the season. Over the weekend, Weiss won the Mackenzie Tour qualifier in BC by 2 strokes, going 14 under. He's ranked as the number 6 amateur golfer in the world by Golf Week. The NC2A Championships coming to the Eugene Country Club end of the month. could be his swan song. And Gonzaga took down the baseball Ducks 7C at PK last night. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle, where you can always get a free nutrition consultation from a certified nutritionist. On Franklin, across from Market of Choice. News time, 7:22.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out in the next few minutes, it's on the chilly side. Temps right now are in the mid to low 40s out there, only about 10 degrees above freezing. We do have a little bit of light fog as well. I expect that to burn off by about 11 a.m. and mostly clear skies, light winds out of the north. Now this afternoon, high pressure looks to move in across the region, and that's going to dominate, keeping the skies clear. But there's a side effect. It's going to dramatically shoot the temps up. Most highs look to be in the upper 70s, if not mid 80s. And over the next couple of days, some of us could even reach the low 90s. Now this high pressure looks to stick around for about 3 days, and a storm system will move up the coast, bringing a chance of thunderstorms Friday night and showers in for your Saturday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the MVC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day out there.
Ramjack leads the way in foundation repair. Protect your investment. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Check out our exceptional online reviews, then choose Ramjack.
CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. Do you know any folks who simply won't ask anyone else for help, regardless of how difficult the situation may be for them? Well, I recently read asking for help does not mean we are weak or incompetent. It usually indicates an advanced level of honesty and intelligence. It's really the smart people who ask for help, admitting that they probably don't know something. It's pretty difficult to do things we haven't learned how to do, so in case of doubt, ask. And show others just how intelligent you really are. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CCB number 4296.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
the one means no matter what the problem.
From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's locally supported by Mitsubishi Electric, so their Mitsubishi Electric factory-trained technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
Where's your finish line? Set a goal, make a plan, get results. Max Muscle offers customized nutrition plans by a certified nutritionist. Learn what and how much food to eat, when to eat, and how it relates to your body. Stop into Max Muscle today, Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
Tired of expensive movie theater popcorn or standing in line or having to drive home after watching the big game at your annoying uncle's house? It sounds like you need to have the folks from TV Specialty in your life. Nobody does TVs like TV Specialty. Think a home theater system is out of the question or out of the budget? Call TV Specialty and see how close you really are. 541-688-5061. It's quality backed by service at TV Specialty. 541-688-5061.
With River Road Health Mart Pharmacy and their MedSync service, they're able to help you save time and money by coordinating all your prescriptions into one easy monthly pickup.
Managing all my medications didn't fit into my busy schedule, so my River Road Health Mart pharmacist coordinated all my prescriptions into one convenient pickup. Now I only have to make one trip per month. They will even deliver them to my home or work.
Visit River Road Health Mart Pharmacy at 884 River Road in Eugene today. For more information or to transfer your current prescriptions, visit online at pharmacyeugene.com. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
This is a heavy dose of hard-hitting wake-up call.
This is the wake-up call.
For one thing, thank you so much.
Holloway in London and the wake-up call.
Yeah, I love what you do.
On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Cocked your head to the side and said I'm angry. 5 days since you laughed at me. Saying, get back together, come back and see me. 3 days since the living room. I realize it's all
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Man, what a gorgeous start to the day. This isn't a spring day. This is like a summer day. And a nice one at that. Anyway, glad that you could spend a little bit of time with us this morning. As always, you can email us at 1120kpnw at gmail.com and just send it to us here in the Widmer Brothers studio, where I believe we have our friend on the line.
Yeah, I don't know, does it seem like, as you look at your life, does it seem sometimes like you're living somebody else's life, maybe working their gig, or maybe the fulfillment score is in the negatives? That's where our good friend Tammy Brannon comes in and might be able to help you, maybe connect you with the life that possibly would give you a little bit more fulfillment, more satisfaction. Instinctive Life is her website, and Tammy Brannon joins us now. Tammy, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Excellent. How are things in Corvallis?
Sunny. How about there?
Oh, it's terrible. Stormy. Stormy. We've got hail and tornadoes expected today.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Only an hour away. Who knew the weather could be so different?
Oh, yeah. It's the vortex of hell here.
You're just saying that because I'm not there.
No, something like that. So I have a question for you. I was thinking about this on the way in this morning.
Nice.
And it was based on a discussion that I had with a friend of mine. And that was, how does one... Okay, so let's say that you're one of those folks, you're in that job that you feel is a rut. Mm-hmm. You hate that job. You know you need to change, and yet you just can't dredge it up, if you will, enough to change. Is that a situation where, well, it's your own bloody fault, or is it something else? And what does one do if they're in that where they feel completely trapped and they just can't do it?
It's an interesting question, and I would have to say that it's definitely a thing. I hear about it all the time, so whoever was talking to you, your friend that was talking to you about that, I would let them know right away they're not alone. I know a lot of people who feel trapped because they want to go somewhere else, but they don't feel they can for whatever reason. And I have two answers to that. One is that sometimes the pain just hasn't gotten strong enough. And so there's really nothing you can do about that but keep on keeping on.
It's like addiction. They haven't hit bottom yet.
Exactly. It's so true. Because we're so much more willing to take risks and make sacrifices when the pain is too much. And when it's not that bad, it's kind of like tepid bath water. You know, it's not cold enough where you want to get out yet, but it's not great either. And until it gets really cold, you won't get out. And the same is true with our jobs, relationships as well, for that matter. But I have another answer, and that is that when you're in that situation, and maybe you want to move, maybe you're ready to move, but there just are no options around you, then what I tell people that are in those situations is you have to accept the moment for what it is. And we have this unreasonable expectation that we can go from point A to point B in 2.3 seconds and that everything's going to be hunky-dory. And if it's not hunky-dory, then something's wrong with us. We're doing something wrong. And that's actually not the way the world works. If you just look at nature, you'll see how long things come about. It takes things, it's time. It takes water and sunlight, not thunderstorms and lightning and hail, to get to their full fruition. The same is true for us. Sometimes we're meant to go through pain. Oh, shocker. And we're not meant to take medication for it either. We're meant to just suffer through it sometimes. Because in the suffering through it, we become stronger and more capable of providing the value that we're meant to provide. So I have two stories to share with you. And interrupt me, because I know sometimes I can just talk and talk and talk. The first story I heard about just yesterday, there was a woman who was in an organization that she actually really loved, but she hated her job. Her job was very limiting, but no matter what she tried, she could not get noticed by the departments in which she wanted to work. So she felt she had no choice but to quit. But she had no great job waiting for her, and she was assuming that she could never get on at this organization that she loved. So she took a job at a department store, basically, and which was a total step down for her. But it was something that she had done in the past, and she knew she could do it, and she needed the money, et cetera, et cetera. She stayed in that job for 18 months. In that time, she kept looking, she kept trying. Finally, this organization that she had previously worked for reached back out to her and offered her a job in the very department that she had previously wished for 18 months prior. And I'm sharing that story with everybody out there who thinks that if it doesn't happen immediately, it's not going to happen.
But there's something to be said about being proactive. I mean, there's an essence of Hollywood to that story, and somebody I could say going, okay, so I just trust that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
What about taking matters into your own hands?
Well, it's a great question. So what I find is that when we are in our human mode of fighting, or the fight or flight response, when we're in that mode, I hate my job, I got to fix it, we're not open to that instinct, that subtle suggestion that comes from somewhere else and lands in our brain. And those subtle suggestions will tell you what to do. But if we're in the fight or flight mode, we're so panicked that we can't hear it. And there's no room for those instincts to get in, those just subtle little nudges. So we have to do a daily clearing of the brain, getting room in the brain, and keeping our brain positive, which is really difficult, I know. But I actually have a technique that I use with my clients to help them do that on a day-to-day basis when the job that they're in sucks.
Can you give us a hint?
Yeah.
Well, it's basically just like what I talked about. It's way longer than it would.
Sure.
It takes longer than what we could go over today, but it's basically a habit that you can get into daily, a daily habit 3 times a day that I have people do this for 5 minutes each, so it's actually only 15 minutes in your day, and you can do it while you're driving, you can do it in the shower, but it's a way to combat those negative thoughts that come into your brain that cause you to want to fight or flee. And if you can keep them out, then instinct can get in. And then, instead of just reacting or acting just to do something, you're acting on point. Because instinct has come in and said, call this person, do this, go here, whatever. And you act on that. But you can't get those instincts when your mind is going crazy with the fight or flight response.
Tammy Brannon on the Wake Up Call, instinctivelife.com is a website. So I think that might be kind of a good spot to kind of interject this concept. And I've heard you say it, and I think there's a lot of people this could resonate with, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck or just feel insecure financially and otherwise. And that's the whole idea of wanting to have a life that you live and experience and not just survive and just maintain.
Yep, that's awesome.
How can somebody even start to kind of put things into place where they can actually live life, feel it, and experience, and not just maintain and just survive to keep their head above water?
That's a great question, Rob, and I love that thought. That thought of living versus surviving. And I can't remember whether it was Thoreau or Emerson, but one of them talked about men that go to the grave with their songs still in them. It's a very dramatic way of saying that they didn't live. They just survived. So there's a lot of advice around this that I could offer, and it would depend a lot upon the particular person's situation, but my philosophy is that the difference between surviving and living is a life that fits you. And that's and my focus is career, but it extends throughout your whole life. And you can't find the life that fits you when you haven't found yourself yet. And which is why I recommend people go through my program, because I find 100 things about them that they can apply to their job. When you find out these 100 things, you now have a guiding point at which to center your life around. When you know yourself that well, you know how to choose relationships. You know how to make your job better. You know if maybe you need to change jobs. You can make decisions based on these 100 things that you've found out about yourself. And when I find people that are in that survive mode and they want to go into the live mode, that is always my suggestion. Figure yourself out. You are a key that will open certain doors only. Nobody else can open those doors. And until you go about opening those doors, you will be in survive mode. And it's just the way it is. And it will be for the rest of your life until you look at your key and be like, oh, I see. There's a corner there. There's an edge there. There's a little circle there. I'm supposed to open these particular doors. And you can't figure that out. You can't figure out the value that you're meant to give here on Earth until you look at yourself that closely.
Do you find people, has there been many people that when you change their attitude and you give them kind of a new way to look at things, their job is going to be one of them, and they realize, you know what, I thought I needed to get a new occupation or a new workplace. I don't, and I'm going to, with my new attitude, I'm going to stay here. Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, I would honestly say it happens the bulk of the time, where people come to me in complete frustration. I will tell you, though, that most of the time, if they stay at their organization, something changes. Not just their own self-knowledge, but because they learn about themselves, something else changes at work. Either they get a new boss, say within the same organization, but maybe a different department, just like the girl I was mentioning previously, or their job duties change. Most of the time in that situation, something at work shifts. But here's the thing. The people at work, I know it's easy to blame them and say, it's their fault that, I sit here all day long and feel my wasted potential. That was actually a quote from a client. She said, I sit here all day long at work and feel my wasted potential. Well, if you're like that, if you're in that boat, it's not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It might be a solvable problem, but you have to figure out what is your wasted potential. It's not just that you have wasted potential. You've got to figure out what it is. Because if you don't know what it is that you have that's not being used at work, how can they be expected to know? Your managers, your coworkers, your boss, they need to see you accurately in order to be able to say, hey, you'd be great for this project, or you'd be great for this job, or let's get you working over here in this area. So one of my favorite sayings is that nobody can place a higher price tag on your head than you do. And this is exactly what we're talking about. You can't blame your work if you're not exposing yourself for who you are. And yet you can't expose yourself if you don't know yourself. So it first starts with getting to know yourself. Then you can show up at work genuinely and say, look, this is who I am. This is what I love to do. I just was talking with a client yesterday who's been rather quiet and subdued at work because she felt like she needed to, otherwise she was going to lose her job. And we've gotten her to a place, she's gotten to such pain that she's willing to speak up now because she doesn't care if she loses her job. She hates it that much. And so she's going back to work, fist swinging, ready to, let it out. Let herself out. Let her opinions be known. Because otherwise, work will never appreciate her for what she has to offer.
What a terrible place to be if you can't be yourself and be, who you truly are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. InstinctiveLife.com. Any books, seminars, anything that people need to know about where Tammy Brandon's going to be?
I've got the online course that I want to continue to direct people to, because if you can't, money in particular is a big factor for people in a situation like this. But this Udemy course, it's $40. It's only $40. It's an hour long, and I'm going to be adding more. So just, I would go to, you can contact me, the site, it's on my website. If you go to instinctivelife.com and go to services, on the services page, there's the Udemy course, and you can go right there. It's just $40, like I said, and you can get a much clearer sense of who you are. You won't get all 100 things, but you can actually get 14 things off of that Udemy course.
And it's not you to me, it's UDEMY, correct?
Correct, that's correct. But if they just go to my website, my services page, my website, by the way, is different. It's been updated. So if you go to the services page, you'll see all the things that I offer, and there's a couple of free things as well as that really low-cost thing of the $40.
Free is good.
Yeah, free is good.
Tammy, thank you so much. Enjoy your sunny day in Corvallis.
Thank you, guys. You too. I'm so sorry about the hailstorm.
Well, that's in his world. It's sunny and rainbows in mine. 742, Tommy the 12-year-old coming up on KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are posting solid gains. The Dow up 138 points, the Nasdaq up 17, and the S&P up 14, as the price of oil moves higher again, erasing early losses. Traders are paying close attention to the weather's impact on the Alberta wildfires, which have cut Canada's oil output, but there are new threats to Nigerian and Libyan production. Small businesses are feeling a little better about the economy. The National Federation of Independent Businesses April update is slightly ahead of forecasts. 8% of employers think this is a good time to expand. A big scoop of Friendly's ice cream is now part of the nation's biggest dairy company. Dallas-based Dean Foods has bought Friendly's manufacturing and retail operations for $155 million. The deal includes Friendly's trademark and intellectual property, but not its more than 260 restaurants. They will still be operated by an affiliate of Sun Capital Partners. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg Radio.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
Sherman Brothers Trucking is looking for an experienced lowboy driver to drive regionally. Great benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and paid vacation. They're also looking for mechanics at their Harrisburg operation. Sherman Brothers has been family-owned since 1969 and offers a great work environment. Sherman Brothers prides themselves on the quality of their employees and the service the company provides. Excellent training and quality management will help you reach your goals. Check out ShermanTrucking.com for more details or call 800-457-1459 today. Sherman Brothers Trucking.
Warmer weather is coming. You may be ready, but is your vehicle? Midlane Truck and Equipment Repair can perform a complete inspection of your cooling and air conditioning system to ensure you and your vehicle stay cool when it gets hot out. Offering bumper-to-bumper service and repair on trucks, RVs, autos, and trailers, including general maintenance, in-frame overhauls, welding, fabricating, liftgate, and reefer repair. Call Midlane Truck and Equipment Repair now to beat the heat.
The Heroes are coming this summer to historic Hayward Field for Tracktown 16 and the 2016 United States Olympic Team Trials in Track and Field. For the third consecutive time, America's heroes in track and field will compete for coveted spots on the world's greatest outdoor track and field Olympic team. Join us and watch and wonder as your heroes run, jump, and throw to the top steps of the podium. July 1st through the 10th. Single-day tickets on sale now at tracktown16.com.
Sponsored by T-Mobile. Switch to the Un-carrier today. T-Mobile.
Every election year, you hear lots of promises and few guarantees. Lars Larson here to tell you about one guarantee you have right here in Eugene and Lane County. Jeremy Parmenter will sell your home. That's right. Jeremy guarantees to sell your home at a price and a deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it. And Jeremy will sell your home fast. Darbin and Ruby wanted to sell their home and move out of the country. They didn't need the extra stress that comes with selling their home, so they called Jeremy Parmenter. He sold their home in less than 30 days, right on schedule, and got them $10,000 more than any house in that neighborhood. Why would you think of working with any other agent in Eugene or Lane County? And there's no risk. If you want out of the contract, you're out. Call the only agent I recommend in Eugene. Call Jeremy Parmenter at 541-255-5684. That's 541-255-5684. Online, OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com. That's OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out in the next few minutes, I am tracking a little bit of light fog out there. Otherwise, mostly clear skies. Temps right now look to be in the mid to upper 40s. Light winds out of the north at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Now this afternoon, high pressure looks to dominate across the region, and that means the temps dramatically warmer. Highs are going to shoot to the upper 70s to low 80s, and we may even see a few low 90s over the next 48 hours. This clear skies and sunny weather looks to continue as high pressure moves over the area. But we're already tracking the next storm system set to move in Friday afternoon, and is bringing a chance of thunderstorms. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
Your community.
Being the mom of two young kids, I can't imagine.
Your show.
People are, I think right now, the most important issue.
Your station.
People are not going to do their own research and figure it out.
Wayne County's Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
7:47. You know, by the sound of that music, it's time for Tommy the 12-year-old. Tommy the 12-year-old is our political consultant here on the Wake Up Call.
Who asked an interesting question just moments ago? Why do you call me Tommy the 12-year-old? To which we answered, is your name Tommy? Yes. Are you 12? Yes. There you go. It's truth in advertising, my friend.
How many times have you dropped it? Hey, do you know who I am?
No, I've not done that yet.
You need to start.
You go down to the soda fountain and talk to the soda jerk, and you just go, hey, you know who I am? I'm on the radio.
No, I'm a gentleman. I wouldn't do that.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go.
Nicely done. Well done, Tommy.
So welcome back. So for somebody that hasn't heard us chat with you, why don't you give us like a rundown of who you are? Who's Tommy the 12-year-old?
So basically, I'm your political analyst.
Okay.
I predict who's going to win the states, but my predictions aren't going to be of much use on the Republican side, and a very little today.
Don't say where you go to school, but you do go to a school locally, and what are your interests? What's your favorite class?
Science and PE.
And some PE.
Yeah.
Probably get to play outside today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. So are things going okay over the U of O for you? They going okay for you?
So Donald Trump came in on Friday.
Did you get to go see the Trumpster, the big D?
Nope.
The Donald? How come?
Because I wanted to go, but there were too many protesters, and my dad said he didn't appreciate being spit on.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay, so if you would have sat down with the Donald, what one or two questions would you have asked him? How did we worked it out?
So I think the questions that are asked to him the most are...
No. What question would you like to ask?
I know. I'll get into that. So...
Okay, sorry.
The polls for him show, like, he says it like it is. But I don't really get that, because then when he says stuff, he doesn't explain how he's going to do it. Like, oh, I'm going to bring back jobs. How? And I'm going to get those people out of... get the people out of the White House that don't need to be there. How? The only thing that I know that he explains and says how he's going to do it is the wall. We're going to make Mexico pay for it. So I'd probably ask him, how would you get the jobs back, or stop the curfew on the lumber here in Oregon?
That's interesting you mentioned that, because you watched the speech, right? Okay. And you noticed that he brought up lumber. And he was just reading off of a page, and it was as if he hadn't even read the page that he was reading off of. He had mentioned that, for those of you that weren't there, he said, I had some of my staffers put together a list of things that are going on here in Oregon. And he just had it on a single sheet of typing paper. And he almost sounded surprised when he got to the point of why it is that...
the federal reference.
Yeah, that timber has been cut, or why timber cutting has been reduced here in Oregon in timber production.
Here in Oregon.
Yeah, and Oregon, yeah. And he was almost surprised when he got to why it was, but like you said, he gave absolutely no specifics in how he was going to do it. It's like, oh, I'm going to wave my magic Trump wand, and all of a sudden people are going to be cutting down trees, and mills are going to be opening, and everything else.
I support him. I was a Cruz supporter, but now that he's the only one really.
Now that he's the only one left.
Anything's better than Hillary or Bernie, so I get where people are coming from when they say that they would stay home. But the people that call themselves conservatives and say that they're going to stay home or going to vote for someone else, like Paul Ryan saying that he doesn't know if he's going to be able to vote for him, and he calls himself a conservative. Last time I checked, conservative meant original, and original for a Republican would be voting for your nominee.
Not a fan of Paul Ryan not saying anything. So today you knew that Paul Ryan is sitting down with Trump and Reince Priebus. What do you think? How do you think they're going to come out of the back end of that?
I think that Paul Ryan will probably just say, kind of like I expect Cruz to do. He's not the best person, but it's better than Hillary. That's what I think they'll do. They're not too fond of him.
What kind of endorsement? I mean, when you think about it, what kind of endorsement is that? Well, he's not as bad as Hillary. Oh, thanks for the endorsement. I mean, what a backhanded endorsement that is. Well, you don't suck as bad as the other person I think sucks.
Well, that's what it's coming down to. People are voting for the lesser evil, what they perceive to be the lesser evil.
I don't necessarily agree with most of the things that Trump says. There's plenty of things that I do not agree with at all. But I think that's the same with a ton of other people, like Jeb Bush, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush, and then Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. All those people, I don't get how you would just stay home or vote for someone else.
What's your feelings about a third party? Because we were talking about that recently.
Now, obviously, I'm fine with a third party that's a liberal, because that would take votes away from the Democratic nominee. But if we put a third party candidate that's a Republican, let's say Mitt Romney or Ted Cruz, if we put them out there, that's going to, even if it takes 1 or 2%, that's taking that percent from Trump that gives the nomination to Hillary. I'm kind of scared of the third party candidate. That's why.
Well, all you have to do is go back to 2000. No, seriously. I mean, if it was not for Ralph Nader, we would have had President Al Gore. It was Ralph Nader that siphoned off, because he ran in the Green Party. He siphoned off enough. I think it was, 4%? I think it was 4%. He got 4% of the vote, most of it coming at the expense of Al Gore. Well, that would have been enough to push to Al Gore over the top. So your fear of a third party affecting the Republicans is probably based somewhat on history.
Depending upon who it is.
Yeah, if it's some little person...
Some little person? Wow, you have gotten quite...
Of little importance. So let's say someone that no one's ever heard of. When you look at the people that are being elected locally, there's so many people, you've barely heard of any of them. Like, you look around, you see those signs like, who's Chris Wigg? Who's Chad Anderson? Or who's that? If it was someone like that, people they would look on the ballot, they'd be like,
okay,
who?
so in other words, if it's a no name, nothing to worry about, but if they've got a name, then...
Like Mitt Romney or Ted Cruz or something like that, then it's a problem.
1 week away from Oregon, what's your
prediction?
Obviously, Trump's going to win. I think Bernie will win by a decent amount. There are going to be... It's not going to be... So the recent primaries have been, record-breaking. There have been so many votes. I don't think Oregon will be that way, because I think so many people will not vote just because Trump's the only person. Okay. So I think it will be a lower voter turnout.
What do you think about West Virginia? How do you think Hillary's going to do there? That's today.
Bernie's going to destroy her, I think, by 10 or 20%. So in between, probably double digits, definitely.
Going to beat her by double digits. Tommy, and don't forget, you're a role model. Are you registered to vote?
No.
You're not?
What's going on?
Why aren't you registered to vote?
Well, the laws obviously say that I can't vote. You have to wait till you're 18.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that you are 12 years old.
I'm not
You're
either.
like
I think you're just a
25.
short 18.
People have been calling me 12 going on 70, so.
All right. Do you have your website up yet?
No.
Tommy the 12-year-old?
Nope.
No? All right.
Yeah, your blog or anything? Are you on the blogosphere? Doing vlogs yet? You doing that?
He's got to get to school.
Okay.
What's your first class?
Language arts.
Language arts. All right. And if you want us to write you a note,
Yeah, we will.
Some credit for this.
No, school hasn't started.
All right, hour number 3 coming up. Thank you, Tommy. It's 11:20 KPNW.
Keep District Attorney Patty Perlow fighting to protect you. As District Attorney, Patty Perlow fights crimes and saves taxpayers' money by winning grants to safeguard U of O students, to test untested rape kits, to enforce child support decisions, and to protect victims and witnesses. District Attorney Patty Perlow is fair and honest. That's why Patty Perlow has won support across the political spectrum. The Register Guard called Patty Perlow the clear choice and the real reform candidate. The Eugene Weekly called the election a no-brainer. Patty Perlow has also been endorsed by the Safety and Justice Action Fund, the Lane County Peace Officers Association, the Eugene Police Employees Association, the Springfield Police Officers Association, and Lane County Sheriff Byron Trapp.
I'm Lane County Sheriff Byron Trapp. I need Patty Perlow in the District Attorney's Office to continue her important work for our community and law enforcement.
Paid for by Keep District Attorney Patty Perlow Committee.
Our family is outdoors all the time.
We don't sit still very often.
We live in the country.
We're always running to basketball, soccer, games, and practices.
Anything we can do to reduce surprises helps us get through a day.
We want to do what we love, worry-free, and that's where FireMed comes in.
Being FireMed members gave us one less thing to worry about.
So being FireMed members has always made sense to us.
Having FireMed adds a little peace of mind and provides balance to our limited budget.
We FireMed for life on the farm.
We FireMed for family.
We FireMed for financial stability.
We FireMed for anything life brings.
Did you know that for just $65, FireMed covers your household for an entire year? That's less than $6 per month. A single emergency ambulance can cost $1,800, even with good insurance. No wonder more than 30,000 households FireMed. So why do you FireMed? Join today at firemed.org.
Every child needs a place where they can grow up healthy and learn and be safe.
Every child needs a place to call home. A place where they can play and dream. Dream. And plan for their future.
Your support can help put a decent roof
over the heads of a family like mine.
Like mine.
Like mine.
Like mine. To learn how you can help, visit habitat.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help you help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything. Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. President Obama will go where no sitting U.S. president has ever gone, Hiroshima. Fox Radio's John Decker is live at the White House.
An estimated 80,000 people were killed in Hiroshima when an atomic bomb was dropped on the city in August 1945, near the end of World War II. Later this month, President Obama will make an historic visit to the city, the first by a sitting American president. The president will be accompanied by Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. White House advisor Ben Rhodes said the president does not plan to make an apology for making Hiroshima the first city in history to be targeted by a nuclear weapon. Lisa?
John Bernie Sanders still vowing to fight for every remaining vote.
It is an uphill fight, but I have been used to uphill fights.
As Hillary Clinton gets closer to clinching the Democratic nomination, but she's not expecting a great showing in today's West Virginia primary.
Clinton performed very well here back in 2008 when she was running against then-Senator Barack Obama. That appears to have changed, especially with comments that Clinton made about coal miners and the coal industry.
Fox's Rich Edson in Charleston, West Virginia. Republicans Republicans also voting in Nebraska a week after Donald Trump's remaining rivals dropped out. The son of a once prominent Pakistani official is rescued in a hostage raid in Afghanistan.
The U.S. confirming Ali Haider Gilani was found during a joint raid by U.S. and Afghan forces in Ghazni province, Afghanistan. In a statement, Washington saying 4 enemy combatants were killed during the operation. Gilani is the son of Pakistan's former Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani. His father's People's Party led several offenses against the Taliban.
Fox Radio's Jessica Gallagher. U.S. employers posting the most job openings in 8 months in March, though total hiring slowed. Right now, Wall Street's rallying. The Dow's up 171 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
Get up and get moving. Back pain is more common among people who are out of shape, especially weekend warriors who engage in vigorous activity after sitting all week. Regular moderate exercise like walking on your lunch break is more beneficial and the risk of injury is reduced significantly. Being overweight in the midsection shifts your center of gravity forward and puts additional strain on your back muscles. Pilates and other core strengthening activities improve balance and increase stability. Check with a medical professional before starting a new exercise program and practice proper conditioning. Start out slow and build up your endurance.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Statements set for today in a civil trial over the Colorado movie massacre. Victims and their families suing the theater company, claiming there should have been better security for the midnight premiere where James Holmes staged his deadly attack. German police say the suspect in a deadly train station stabbing is claiming that he took drugs. Fox Radio's Simon Owen, live in our European bureau.
Police are investigators offering more details about what happened this morning at a train station in a town near Munich. 4 people were stabbed, one of them fatally, and a 27-year-old German man is in custody. Police saying witnesses reported hearing the assailant say, "Infidel, you must die." Authorities initially said the attacker may have had an Islamist motive, but there's now a focus on his mental health. Police say the suspect has told officers he'd been taking drugs. They say he's appeared confused during questioning, and prosecutors say he's made various statements that simply don't fit together. Lisa?
Thanks, Simon. Recreational marijuana is spurring a growing number of spin-off industries, including pot couriers, possibly. Colorado lawmakers approving a new marijuana transporter license, sending it to the governor's desk. But also some unforeseen problems are cropping up.
Linda Grisky of Lakewood, Colorado took their dog Coco on an outing, and when they got home, Coco was lethargic.
She was completely unresponsive. Her head just was shaking back and forth. We were trying to get her to walk, and she kept wobbling and falling over.
The vet knew right away what it was. The dog was high on marijuana. He knew because they've seen a lot of cases like this, as many as 5 high dogs a day.
Fox's Gary Baumgarten. Since pot became legal, the vets say dogs are finding and eating discarded joints. The FDA will review its current definition of healthy, which could impact marketing for many foods. A revaluation coming after the maker of Kind bars complained their product was flagged for saturated fat levels that stem from nuts. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. 8:05 on a glorious looking Tuesday. Going to be like this pretty much throughout the week. Come Friday afternoon into Friday evening, that's when you got the rain rearing its ugly head again. Although I like the rain. Clear and 45 tonight. Currently 63 degrees at 1120 KPNW. The Power Hour. We got a bunch of stuff going on. We'll check in with Julie from Lucky Paws, find out what the Center for Community Counseling is up to, and even Camp Harlow gets a little bit of the spotlight. And, of course, before all that, we'll count down some news.
We'll have these stories coming up. Val Hoyle says she wants to get big special interests out of Oregon politics. So, guess who she just received the largest single campaign donation from in the history of Oregon's politics, in particular the Secretary of State's race? Do you suppose it's from somebody in state? Nah. Also, Envision Eugene. What is that all about? And why is it the folks in along South Willamette don't like it? Well, we'll tell you why and how now they're hitting the reset button. We'll take a look at those stories and more coming up. Brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones here on KPNW.
Burrito Amigos really does do things differently. Hi, I'm Bill London, bacon addict. One of the first things I noticed about Burrito Amigos bacon burritos is that they use not one, but two types of bacon. Nicely played, burrito friends. Their beef, not the usual cheap cuts, cooked forever to make it sort of tender except for the surprise gristle wads. Burrito Amigos uses real certified tender black Angus beef, the kind you find at expensive steakhouses. That's different. The fish burritos, real cod. The taco salad's huge. Burrito Amigos menu is even different. You'll find your favorite burritos, enchiladas, tamales, and quesadillas there, but where else are you going to find yammy tacos made with yams and a spicy guacamole sauce that's different from anything you've ever tried? They even have potato tacos, which are delicious. How many burrito places even have a vegetarian menu, let alone tofu items? Burrito Amigos, happy to be different. In Eugene and Springfield, I'm Bill London, happy to vouch for the bacon and the yummy tacos.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
the one means no matter what the problem.
From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. So our highly skilled technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
KPNW Honor Flight Auction is coming Friday the 20th. If you're already an auction VIP, you're set. If you want to become one, register today at kpnw.com and click on Oregon E-Deals. Then listen to KPNW Friday the 20th for the auction starting at 6 a.m. You can call the Priority 1 Heating Hotline and bid on featured items like a ductless heating and air conditioning system from Priority 1 or a $3,700 certificate from Worldwide Granite. Tune in to 1120 KPNW. Get the details at kpnw.com.
Local news, local people. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, the city of Eugene's controversial South Willamette Special Area Zone would have built high-density, high-rise apartments in single-dwelling residential neighborhoods, and that plan met an ignominious end last night. The city council, with very little discussion, voted unanimously to kill the plan and just start over. However, outgoing Mayor Kitty Piercy, who supported the plan, now wants to start a new round of talks on what could be called South Willamette Special Area Zone 2.0 and what that planning effort should be. Now, the Special Area Zone was a part of Envision Eugene, a plan by the city of Eugene, pushed by outgoing Mayor Kitty Piercy, to essentially cram more people into a smaller area, expanding the actual physical size of the city, but by moving up as opposed to moving out. In other words, build up, don't build out, or, if you will, build in. Piercy says that she will convene a forum to hear ideas on how the city should deal with South Willamette and how to move forward. Obviously, Piercy liked the plan of putting apartment complexes in a residential neighborhood. However, one plan, is supported by councilors George Brown and Mike Clark, is to actually put stakeholders, namely property owners, business owners, and residents in the area, in charge of the future planning process. The group would develop plans for commercial areas of South Willamette and single-family neighborhoods, shielding them from placing high-density structures in what would be considered a traditional neighborhood. State Representative Val Hoyle is running in the primary for a chance to become Secretary of State. On Hoyle's voters pamphlet page, which she paid for and authorized, it says, and I'm quoting, "Val Hoyle will make sure working Oregonians will come first and not powerful special interests." Apparently, Hoyle isn't working too hard on that when it comes to her own campaign. Hoyle just accepted a $250,000 check from New York billionaire Michael Bloomberg. How big is it? Well,
There has never been a personal private donation to a Secretary of State's candidate that was that much. It's huge. Last year, Hoyle worked for Bloomberg to pass a bill forcing private sellers of guns to go through a background check, something that Bloomberg has been trying to ram through legislatures across the country. Last week in Willamette Week, a spokesperson for Bloomberg said the $250,000 check was a show of appreciation to Hoyle's work on behalf of Bloomberg's agenda. Hoyle also, by the way, received a healthy chunk of out-of-state money from Washington, D.C.-based Emily's List, which backs pro-choice candidates. In that case, she accepted $105,000. And while it would be unrealistic to expect Hoyle to refuse massive donations from groups that want to buy her political favors, it does smack as hypocrisy to hold her hand out to the powerful special interest groups when she says she's going to put working Oregonians first. Unless, of course, Michael Bloomberg just got a job in Oregon. The Eugene Police Department plans on making the roads safer for Memorial Day weekend, and so once again they're going to be ramping up on Dewey patrols.
In May, Eugene Police will be staffing extra Dewey specialist patrols, and especially around the Memorial Day holiday, and that's so that they have enough staffing in order to identify, stop, and investigate possible Dewey drivers.
Melinda McLaughlin of the Eugene Police Department says the Dewey patrols are not just for holidays. They're staffed mostly through funding of state grants. The patrols have caught 54 Dewey drivers so far since January 1st. Over the year-to-date period, EPD has arrested 266 drunk drivers. The previous year-to-date period was 257. It was a unanimous decision at the Springfield City Council meeting Monday to make an appeal of ODOT's recommendation to not lower the speed limit on Main Street. Now, the push comes more than a year after 3 young children were hit and killed while crossing the road with their mother. It's been nearly a year since the city put in the request to reduce the speed limit on Main Street from 40 to 35 miles an hour. ODOT conducted a pair of speed zone studies in the area to see if a change is needed. But they said they don't see the necessity for reducing speed. They said that their study showed 83% of crashes in that stretch were not speed-related. They found the main factors in pedestrian-involved crashes are visibility issues and distracted drivers. New court documents reveal what Ammon Bundy really hoped to achieve with the occupation of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Brad Ford has that story.
Ammon Bundy didn't want a criminal court fight when he and his group occupied the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. The Oregonian reports court documents filed by his attorneys say he expected to face a civil court battle. They thought the federal government would issue an eviction instead of arresting them on federal charges in criminal court. They continue to claim the federal government doesn't have the constitutional authority to own and control land except in certain circumstances. Brad Ford, KPNW.
A soldier's death in Iraq remains under investigation. 25-year-old First Lieutenant David Bowders of Seattle died Friday at Al-Assad Air Base. His death was described as non-combat related. Now, Bowders graduated from Forest Grove High School here in Oregon and was a graduate of the University of Portland. He served with the Washington National Guard's 176th Engineer Company. He was deployed in April. He was also a Washington State Trooper. A 22-year-old McMinnville man reported missing last month near Depot Bay has been found, police announced Monday, and they say he was safe and healthy. Owen Henry Woods was reported missing April 18th, and his family was concerned about his welfare. According to McMinnville police, on Monday said he was no longer considered missing. McMinnville police led the investigation with the help of the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. Oregon schools will begin teaching a new science standard and plans to introduce new science tests in 2018. Oregon has started phasing in the new next generation science standards, which are used by 18 states and emphasize hands-on learning and cross-cutting concepts, as they call it, such as cause and effect or stability and change. Officials say it's too soon to tell what the tests are going to look like, but that the standards move away from memorization. The science standards pair with the state's Common Core tests for English language arts and math, which debuted last year. Previously, schools used the old Oregon Assessment of Knowledge and Skills test for science. The Oregon Department of Education officials say the delay between the new standards and introducing the tests is pretty typical. The quick action of a pizza delivery driver is getting the praise for saving a Salem man's life. Domino's driver Tracy Hamblin called the Marion County Sheriff's Office after not hearing from a regular customer in 11 days. Lieutenant Chris Baldridge says because of the regular deliveries, the employee became concerned.
Mr. Hamblin knew that the victim, Kirk Alexander, suffered from multiple medical conditions.
Baldridge says that when they got to Alexander's home, they could hear him calling for help. Deputies found Alexander on the floor. They got him to a hospital. Hamblin's actions and willingness to help are drawing thanks.
And just care for another person. And that, that's always the great stories we like hearing about.
Alexander's hospitalized in stable condition. Marine biologists studying a disease killing sea stars on the West Coast have found a spike in the number of young sea stars. OSU professor Bruce Menji says they think it was caused by adult sea stars dying, making more food available for the young'uns.
Acid wasting is still going on. It hasn't gone away, so it's not as severe as it was, but it's still present.
They don't know what ocean condition is causing the sea stars to die. Chief Executive Magazine has released its annual Best and Worst States for Business survey. Best and Worst States for Business polls CEOs on a wide range of issues, from the growing talent shortage and skills gap to digital transformation. The survey also presents individual category rankings like quality of life, tax policy, workforce quality, and best communication of business incentives, as well as rankings by region. So, where do you suppose Oregon landed in this meeting of CEO minds? Well, we're 39th in taxation and regulation, 29th in workforce quality, 15th in living environment, and 39th overall. J.P. Donlan, executive and editor-in-chief of CEO Magazine, explains why Oregon is close to scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Despite the fact that Oregon has a positive working environment, its taxation and regulation regime, certainly for small to medium business, has always been problematic. And that generally drives the state score downward.
CEOs rated Texas as the number one state where they would like to do business. Florida comes in at number 2. North Carolina, Tennessee, and Indiana round out the top 5. Worst state? California. A woman on a flight from Las Vegas to Portland was arrested for what happened during the flight. Brad Ford has that story.
26-year-old Heidi McKinney of Banks was on Alaska Airlines Flight 621 from Las Vegas to Portland Sunday night. She is accused of touching another woman inappropriately during the flight. Police were waiting as the plane landed and took McKinney into custody after questioning the victim. She is charged with third-degree sex abuse. She's being held on $2,500 bail. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Portland Trailblazers squandered an early 16-point lead up on the defending NBA champs, Golden State Warriors. And then the game got even longer as it went to OT. Stepping up, the probably MVP of the NBA, Steph Curry, who some didn't even think was going to play earlier in the day. He finishes with 40, 17 of those in overtime. Warriors with a gut punch to the Blazers in Game 4, 132-125 in OT, take the 3 games to 1 lead as they can close it out tomorrow. According to an anonymous tip, Steph will repeat as the NBA's MVP. NFL former Duck Braylon Addison going to try to make the Denver Broncos roster as a return man and a backup receiver. And after 2 impressive seasons, Oregon golfer Aaron Weiss has decided to go pro at the end of the season. Over the weekend, he won the Mackenzie Tour qualifier in BC by 2 strokes, going 14 under, ranked as the number 6 amateur golfer in the world by Golf Week. The NC2A Championships coming to the Eugene Country Club. Potentially his swan song. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle. Where's your finish line? Set a goal, make a plan, get results. On Franklin, across from Market of Choice, news time, 8:21.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out in the next few minutes, I am tracking a little bit of light fog out there. Otherwise, mostly clear skies. Temps right now look to be in the mid to upper 40s. Light winds out of the north at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Now this afternoon, high pressure looks to dominate across the region, and that means the temps dramatically warmer. Highs are going to shoot to the upper 70s to low 80s, and we may even see a few low 90s over the next 48 hours. This clear skies and sunny weather looks to continue as high pressure moves over the area. But we're already tracking the next storm system set to move in Friday afternoon, and it's bringing a chance of thunderstorms. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
This winter, we received more rainfall than in the past 75 years. Severe weather could cause damage to your home's foundation. Ramjack can fix that. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com.
CCB 146906. Built for business. Waiting. No one enjoys it. With Comcast Business, you can do less of it. Because Comcast Business Internet is up to 5 times faster than DSL from the phone company, which means less waiting for things like security backups and file downloads. Plus, it's a better value when you select the fastest plan. So do what nearly 1,000 businesses do every day and choose Comcast Business. Unless you'd prefer to wait. Switch to Comcast Business Internet. Then add one voice line and TV for just $34.90 a month for 2 years. And ask about their low price guarantee. Call 800-501-6000 or visit ComcastBusiness.com. That's 800-501-6000. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Offer ends 5/31/16. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees, including broadcast TV fee extra. Compares Comcast 100 megabits per second and 20 megabits per second DSL downloads.
Is your body getting enough protein every day? Try Max Pro at Max Muscle. These protein shakes are packed with protein, very low carbs, and zero sugar. Chocolate malt, strawberry banana smoothie, blueberry, and more. Max Muscle. Try it before you buy it. Franklin Boulevard, across from the Market of Choice.
Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
If you owe for back taxes, payroll taxes, or if you've not filed, the IRS will search you out. They are the most powerful collection agency in the world. One call to Wall & Associates, and your tax problems can be solved. Listen.
I was worried I would lose my house. Wall met with me in person.
I was scared. Wall & Associates got my levy released in 48 hours.
They settled my back tax debt for a fraction of what I owed.
At Wall, we solve tax problems.
Call 800-285-2933. That's 800-285-2933.
You always speak with a live person. I never had to talk to the IRS again.
Wall stopped my wage garnishment.
Wall solved my back tax problems for a fraction of what I owed.
Call Wall & Associates now for a free face-to-face consultation.
Call 800-285-2933. That's 800-285-2933. 800-285-2933. Get set to save now at Mid-Valley Tractor, your local Kubota dealer. Take command of your lawn care needs with a new Kubota Commander zero-turn mower. Get commercial-grade performance and a full 4-year factory warranty at a price you can afford. Now during the Get Set to Save sales event, get a special introductory price of $38.99 and 0 down and 0% financing for 36 months. Now through June 30, 2016. Call toll-free 1-800-794-4992 for details about cost and terms. Great prices, great products from people you can trust. Mid-Valley Tractor on Highway 99.
I need to find a happy story right now.
Holloway in London.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
Wayne County's Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
8:25. Good morning. Wake Up Call live and local all over your Tuesday here in Eugene, Springfield. We'll be versing with Julie from Lucky Paws. Maybe add to the family. So if you are swimming in debt, particularly credit card debt, you might like this story. You might be able to appreciate the fact that the big, huge celebrity, the iconic David Hasselhoff, according to British tabloids, is doing just that. He's racked up $100,000 in credit card debt. He owes another $100,000 in back taxes. And he only has $600 in the bank. He's been trying to get his $21,000 a month alimony checks to ex-wife Pamela Bach reduced. And apparently he's also trying to keep a 36-year-old girlfriend happy. So he's, I don't know how much longer
Yeah,
she's going to be around if he's only got $600 in the bank.
I'm thinking what he needs to do is he needs to go back to Germany and record another album. Got to get him out of debt.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why isn't he doing that?
CelebrityNetWorth.com says that he's worth, he's got $50 million to his name, although they're not quite sure if that's accurate. I mean, as much as I don't wish a terrible situation like that, just to know that there's somebody in the world who you think, with all the resources and the name recognition, is doing about as well as you, there's something where I can kind of take a little bit of solace in that story. Is that shallow and bad?
No, I don't think so. That whole Schadenfreude thing?
That's not like a convincing response there.
No.
Oh, are we getting stiffed by Julie and Lucky Paws? Maybe.
Looks that way.
They have no dogs for adoption. Although last time we were kind of curious about things, there was a crash that was affecting her commute. So
right.
We'll hope that it's...
And for some reason, I don't think she knows how to use the phone technology quite yet. I think Julie sometimes that whole phone thing kind of...
She might think, that we're on the air. We can't take it.
Well, actually, what it may
call.
be, she may not have the hands-free technology.
Right. And she doesn't want to break the law.
Right. So there she is now.
I know.
What did the dog run away? What's going on?
No dog, but I got pulled over and got a nice lecture from Eugene's finest about tailgating. So thank you for reminding me not to tailgate. No ticket.
Did he take the dog?
Very nice, officer. No. So I couldn't get a dog this morning. We only have a few dogs. But
did you tell him that you were...
I told him I was late for the radio, and he's like, okay, well, don't tailgate. And then...
See, if you would have told him where you were going and who you were going to be hanging out with, you would have got the ticket.
I'm glad I didn't say then.
Yeah.
I said, I'm late for the radio, and the guy in front of me didn't put on his blinker and quickly slammed on his brakes.
Was it right out here at the yeah.
I said, but it's okay. I wasn't so close I was going to hit him. And then I got the lecture about what if a kid ran in front of him. Oh. So he's right. I shouldn't tailgate.
Anytime.
And I appreciate no ticket. Thank you.
I was going to say, anytime an officer pulls you over and you don't get a ticket, you agree with everything that he says.
No. Or
she says.
Good reminder.
Do you remember the name?
No.
Of the cop?
No.
Okay.
It was a quick conversation. He was just teaching me a lesson.
Was he on a motorcycle or was he in a...
No, he was in a Jeep. I didn't even know he was a cop.
Oh.
Because when I had to slam on my brakes, I looked behind me to see who was going to hit me.
And it was him?
Yeah, but thank goodness he was following the law.
He wasn't tailgating.
Was he wearing a uniform?
Close. He was.
Oh, okay.
Did you see a badge?
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, really? Was I pranked?
Was it made out of cardboard?
Ma'am.
No.
So I was just going out to Dexter, but I wanted to tell you, that tailgating stuff is not good.
Well, and he probably saw me, saying some not so nice things in the mirror when the person stopped in front of me. But that's okay.
Wow. I'm still trying to figure out the Jeep. Did it say EPD on it?
I don't know. It was a Jeep. I'd never seen a Jeep before.
I think you got pranked. I think you got pranked. I think you got pranked.
Okay, so
anyway,
I didn't want to, not be a no-show. So I tried to get a little dog. I tried to get this little Italian Greyhound thing that we have, but couldn't meet up this morning. But anyway, so I have something else to talk about.
Okay.
We're always, doing something. So the seedy world of horses.
Oh, seedy world.
Seedy.
Not the CD world.
Interesting. Yeah.
The whole thing about the, slaughter and that whole thing that we all don't want to know about. So I'm learning more and more every day. So basically, I sit back and I watch, and people share things all the time on my Facebook page, and they just shared last week a whole bunch of horses. And basically it was, anybody out there want a horse, please please come and look at the kill pen. So this kill pen is in Washington. So horses are shipped all over to the Eugene auction, where from there, if they're not sold or they're sold for very little, and that's not the only way, but that's one way. You might think you're rehoming, okay, I'm going to go sell my horse at the auction. Well, they pay 60 cents a pound for meat. That's all they're worth. So, it's like you can't even rehome your horse and feel good about it. It might end up at this kill pen to be shipped to Mexico, where they're going to slaughter them, send the meat to Europe, and they eat them. Okay, boy, is that fresh, right? Bad enough thinking about meat from Walmart. Anyway, so we decided, because we have this little 2-acre property,
You're going to try to
sitting there
rescue a couple
empty,
horses.
we are bringing in some horses. So we paid for the horses so that they would not put them on the truck. They were literally, they sent me a picture of these horses that were already being funneled into this place where all these buyers come, these kill buyers, that's what they call them, come and take them. So the horses that we're getting came from a breeder who died. And they weren't even put up to the public. They were put straight there in order to pay for, I don't want to get into the whole thing because it's, not, what
Right.
they do, that's their business and all of that. But I'm just saying, this is how easy it is for your animals to end up in this place. So all these horses ended up here. These were, we think of, glue factory, and they're done, whatever. Right. No, and these horses have to make this journey, and it's not legal to do this in the United States. So they go into Canada and make this journey in giant semis, crowded, and by the time they get there, some of them are dead or whatever, and then slaughtered. And it's sickening. There are pregnant mares that are, So anyway, we are bringing in 3 horses.
Are you going to try to adopt the horses out?
So these are actually well-bred, well-broke horses that we're bringing in. And we put it on our Facebook page the other day, and thank goodness a whole bunch of people have stepped up all right. We have people who are horse people, but we've got some people in the community that have stepped up that are going to help come out and work with them and train, and we'll get to know them. It's a long process. You already have to quarantine them for at least 3 weeks to a month, because just by going to that lot, they're exposed to every disease there is. So this is our latest venture.
Wow. How did you find out about this?
Somebody posted it on my Facebook page, and I see it all the time, and I get so many things that I just kind of ignore it, and yeah, whatever.
But this one you didn't.
This time I didn't ignore it. Yeah.
I want to talk to you about something along those lines, because this corresponds with an email literally received yesterday. And it said, I have a matter that is truly upsetting to me and many of my neighbors, and thought maybe you would have an idea on how to handle this. One of our neighbors has been slowly starving their horses over the past couple of years. They've been offered help by another neighbor to get them on a feeding program to help them gain weight, but they declined. They have been turned into animal control numerous times, but to no avail. Rumors are that someone at animal control is friends with the family, and that is why nothing is being done. Also, this person holds a position locally, and possibly that is why they're dragging their feet. If you have any idea about where to go from here in order to help these animals, please advise quickly, because it's our opinion the time is running out for them. Now, my suggestion was, talking to somebody that has done a little bit of horse rescue, was if locally they won't do anything, to contact the ASPCA out of Portland, who, with proper documentation, my understanding is, will come down and, check it out, and I guess they can intervene. What idea do you have if animal control won't step in?
Well, it's interesting because horses are considered livestock. We have all the laws. Pet dogs and cats, that's considered property. So we've got the laws with that. So horses are livestock. So they treat them the same as cows and pigs and everything else. But it's interesting, if they're in the county, I know that the county is always going around and looking. And I mean, we brought an auction horse in last year, and they stopped by and said, "That's a real skinny horse. What's going on?" So I know that they're out and about,
aware
and aware.
But
yeah.
again, okay.
So it's
this person believes at least
right, that they know.
that there is, which, I mean, I can understand where one would say, "Oh, that's interesting." They're not willing to investigate their own,
right?
All things being equal.
Interesting. I mean, they could be older horses that are sick, that they're having a hard time putting weight on. The grass in the wintertime is bad, so animals lose weight over the winter. Right now, the grass is all that new spring grass. It's so full of sugar. You know, there's so many. Maybe there's reasons.
Well, but they're saying,
not gaining weight.
Well, like she said, though, this is the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
This has been going on. So
it's interesting because I know there was another incident. There was
and not only that, but animal control in this area is goofy. You know that as well as I do, running a rescue. That there's just certain things they won't
they
do.
step in sometimes and not others.
Or they'll step in after somebody else steps in.
Right.
As happened with that one dog that was being starved in somebody's backyard.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me because I know in this other case, and this was only a month or two ago. It was an elderly man that got sick, and his horses and cows were starving, and they stepped in and actually had the animals go through the auction. So they made sure that they were taken care of. So I don't know. I wouldn't know. I mean, I'm not sure where else you go with that because
definitely
animal control
starting the conversation, though.
Yeah, it does.
Because I'm sure we'll hear from people that
maybe
have some
more
insight.
and more complaints to animal control need to be said, or, gosh, yeah, that's a tough one. Why would you purposely starve your animal? if you're
but you know
anybody.
as well as I do, this happens all the time.
I know. I mean, if you need help, ask. I'm sure there's people willing to buy hay. I can get hay for $5 a bale. It's not that expensive. So, I don't know. That's a good question.
Website, Facebook page.
Yeah, so if you go on our Facebook page, I kind of wrote a lengthy post. If you can read through the whole thing, that's great. If not, that's okay. It actually gives the site where you can go to see other horses that are on there. So go to Facebook/Lucky Paws site and scroll down to where it says Lucky Paws and Hooves. We kind of changed that to be silly, but there are more. These are, like I said, these are well-bred horses, and there are still a lot sitting there that will be headed to slaughter within the next few days. So our transport goes, it's either Thursday or Saturday. We're working on it, and there's room for 6 horses. If somebody locally wants a horse, I'll bring it here because that's expensive by itself.
Definitely adds more to future conversations. I have a feeling.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely not be done with this.
Yeah, and we can use all the help we can get. So if you keep looking on our Facebook page, I'm going to post a day. Right now, it may have to be Sunday. I'm trying to make it be sooner, but we went out to the pasture and it's full of tansy and poisonous plants, and so we got some work to do.
All right.
Getting our fence fixed up and
All
stuff.
right, Julie from Lucky Paws.
Thank you.
With, light on a story that maybe you didn't know about and didn't want to hear, but you need to. 840.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Oil is moving higher, and so are stocks. The Dow up 171 points, the Nasdaq up 31, and the S&P up 18, with crude oil futures gaining nearly 2% to $44.28 a barrel.
I think we've got a little bit of a strength in commodity pricing. Oil certainly helps today, so everything is looking glass half full.
Brian Peary is co-portfolio manager at Hennessy Funds. U.S. job openings rose by more than forecast in March to the second highest level since the Labor Department started keeping track in in 2000. The number of positions waiting to be filled in the U.S. increased by 149,000 to 5.76 million from a revised 5.61 million in February. The report shows demand for workers was holding steady even as economic growth started to slow. Amazon has its eyes on YouTube. The plan is for Amazon to let people post videos to its website and earn money from ads, royalties, and other sources. I'm Adrienne Mitchell, Bloomberg.
Pacific Continental Bank is proud to call the Eugene-Springfield area home for more than 40 years. As your local banker, partner, and neighbor, we are committed to the health and sustainability of your business and our community. We know it takes more than a loan or deposit to help you succeed. It takes people who know you, your business, and your community. Who says we can't be more than a bank? Pacific Continental Bank, the right bank. Learn more at therightbank.com. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Lars Larson, and I've been telling you about Jeremy Parmenter here in Eugene for a while now. Why? Because he gets results. For example, Tony tried to sell his home with 2 other agents. Neither could get the job done, so he called Jeremy. Jeremy has buyers lined up, and he sold the house in no time at all. Jeremy will spend thousands of dollars marketing your home. The results speak for themselves. Homes sell fast and for top dollar. Jeremy is so confident he can sell your home, he makes this guarantee. If the home doesn't sell at a price and a deadline you agree to, Jeremy will buy it. There's no risk with Jeremy. You can get out of the contract at any time. But you won't need to worry about that because Jeremy knows how to sell your home. Now you know why I can't stop talking about Jeremy Parmenter right here in Eugene. Call him today at 541-255-5685 or go online to OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com. That's OregonRealEstateAdvisors.com and tell them Lars sent you.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London.
The philosophy here is a very simple one.
1120 KPNW.
843 News Radio 1120 KPNW with the Wake Up Call. You look outside and you're thinking, summer is going to be here before you know it, and you'll be looking for things to get the kids occupied, and we might have a way to do that. In fact, we do. Dave the Wave is joining us from Camp Harlow, and I do believe this might be your inaugural visit to the Wake Up Call.
It is. I'm excited
welcome.
about it.
I wish we had a shirt or something.
Well,
for
thank you. Maybe I'll make one myself. It'll be good.
Well, okay. What's your affiliation? What's your connection to Camp Harlow?
Well, I'm the program director out there, and I've been involved in Camp Harlow for about 32 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where is it?
Camp Harlow is just north of town, a couple minutes north of Costco. As you head out toward Armitage Park, you look at First Baptist Church on the left, and you keep going, and Camp Harlow is just right on the McKenzie River, and it's been in operation for about 67 years. And so it's a ministry of First Baptist Church, and so we've been hosting kids and serving the community for about 67 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing out there because you probably maybe asked people that have lived here all their life and have never been there.
Yeah, and it's, we find that it's both a place of legend for those who have had kids or grandkids who have attended camp, but it's also, for some, it's a best-kept secret because, if they haven't had kids that are of camp age or if they've just moved to the area, sometimes they don't hear about it, but, that's one of the reasons why I'm here, just getting the word out.
Okay, so if I'm a parent listening to this radio broadcast,
yes.
I guess a question I would ask, can my kid go?
Absolutely, yeah. It's though it's First B's camping ministry, it's wide open to everybody in the community. And so we host kids that are, the youngest camper is 5 years old. They can go to day camps. We have 3 day camps that are ages 5 through 9. And then we have overnight camps that go all the way up through high school.
Kind of cool because I know we went out there for your, I think it was a Halloween event.
Yeah, Harvest Time at Harlow.
And we were it was raining out there, but yet we jumped into the train and kind of tooled around the campgrounds.
Yeah.
You have quite a little production out there.
It's an amazing place. We are on 200 acres. We use about 100 acres for our camp facilities.
Is that right?
Yeah. So it was a gift given by the Harlow family and to be set aside for ministry to kids. And originally it was supposed to be an orphanage, and around 1949 the state of Oregon was transitioning into the foster care system. And so the fine folks at First B said, we just want to keep this going, and we're going to open it up as a camp.
So if somebody is interested in maybe registering and kind of at least getting more information, is it too premature to do that?
Oh, no. Once the calendar flips into the new year, we're ready to receive registrations and we get the word out. We've got brochures out, but the best place probably is to go online to campharlow.com.
What I guess who makes up the staff? When we look at who are they going to be dealing with?
Yeah. One of my favorite things to talk about is our staff. We have about 240 young people involved during the summer, from senior leaders who are college and post-college kids, young adults, all the way down to 13 and 14-year-old kids who are counselor assistants. So they're really learning to serve and give and love and care at a young age. And those are primarily kids through First Baptist Mid-School Group as well as other youth groups, church youth groups in town. So the staff is, they're just an awesome group of caring young people, many of whom have served out there before. I just read a counselor application saying, I was so loved and cared for when I was a camper out there. I just want to return the favor and be that same kind of role model to campers this year.
Are you looking for anybody, any new volunteers?
Yeah, we right now we're doing pretty well on our staffing, and like I say, most of them have come through either the First Baptist high school group or mid-school group or our college ministry, but also lots of different church groups throughout the area. So we're doing pretty well on staff, and we're really grateful for that.
Dave the Wave. What about a website so people can check it out?
Yeah, campharlow.com. It's that's where you can find the information you need. We've got online registration. We have swimming lessons and equestrian lessons out there as well, and you can find out information about those programs as well.
You got a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, and we've added some new activities this year. We just got some brand new go-karts, which are shiny and sweet and wonderful. And so for...
Gee, no kid in his right mind is going to want to do that.
No, I don't think so.
I think you just spent a whole bunch of money on something that...
Yeah, I think kids...
Not going to go to use.
No, they collect dust for sure.
Right.
No, actually
Kids
they make
and
dust.
They make dust.
We've got some bumper boats out there too. We've got, for our older campers, we've got this amazing, it's called the Intensity Bridge, that spans across our canoe pond. So it's this cable kind of Indiana Jones type of bridge, and it's an awesome, it gets the blood pumping.
Awesome. Dave, have a great summer and have fun out there at Camp Harlow.
All right, thank you.
Dave the Wave on with the Wake Up Call. 11:20 KPNW.
Hi, this is Bill London of the Wake Up Call, and Thursday, the 19th of May, join me as we take the party on the road again for another Thirsty Thursday. We're going to be at Sam's on Franklin Boulevard on the 19th. All the goodness starts at 4 o'clock. It goes until 7. You can check out the latest and greatest of Widmer brews. They'll be on hand, and we'll have plenty of swag and goodies to give away, concert tickets and the like. We'll be giving stuff away just about every 10 minutes. So come join us for it, Thirsty Thursday. That's on the 19th at Sam's on Franklin Boulevard. It's a Thirsty Thursday from KPNW.
What is it about buying a mattress that leaves you feeling violated? Pushy salespeople, fake sales, the walk of shame out of the mattress store? Those days are over. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, co-founder of Helix Sleep, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to helixsleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to helixsleep.com/go and get $50 off your order. That's helixsleep.com/go.
Guys, when you buy your clothes at DXL, you look good. But you feel like a rock star. So if you want to look and feel like you'll find all the brands you love, waist size 38 and up, all in one awesome store. DXL, you're looking good. Right now, Harbor Bay tees are just $19.99 each when you buy 2 or more.
Tune in to Real Estate Today, weekdays at 5:30 p.m.
I'm Bob Nelson, co-host of Real Estate Today. Kurt Large and Evergreen Roofing is my go-to company if I need to understand a roofing system, how to maintain the roof, should it be replaced, and if it is to be replaced, what should be done. He is absolutely the expert's expert. Evergreen Roofing is my go-to company.
To find out more about Evergreen Roofing, just go to their website, evergreenroofing.com.
We'll do it live.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway and London.
We'll do it live.
1120 KPNW.
This is boring as burnt toast.
8:51, 9 away from 9 o'clock. It's how we should end every single show, and that's with a visit from George Rohde from Auto House Stadium and Euro Asian. And then today, Grace from Center for Community Counseling coming in to talk about a comedy show coming out.
A fundraiser comedy show that's going to be a lot of fun and get funds in the proper place for Center for Community Counseling. And now with that, Grace, what do you have to say about this wonderful event?
So the Center for Community Counseling, it's our big annual fundraiser. It's this Saturday, May 14th at the Wildish Theater in Springfield. We have 7 stand-up comedians performing. Tickets are only $25 to see 7 comedians. And we have Liz and Riley from 94.5 who being our MCs for the evening.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
And where the comedians coming from? Are they like doing a tour, or are they local?
So we have 3 local, Leon Joshua, Cress Bates, and Beth Pinkerton. We have 3 coming up from LA, Monica Nevi, Dax Jordan, and Mike Coletta. And we have 1 coming down from Portland, Bree Pruitt. So they're very, very good comedians. You'll laugh your pants off, and it's all in support of a great cause, the Center for Community Counseling.
Center for Community Counseling does great things for our community.
Like what, George? What do they do?
Well, they could help you and Bill.
I doubt it.
over the line.
Yeah.
They help people with mental issues for low cost or no cost at all. And as you probably know, there are a lot of people out there with mental issues. I mean, I'll put it out there on the radio. I had anger problems once in my life, and through counseling, I got them under control. Bottom line, I wasn't feeling stuff. I didn't, and my volcano built up, and it creates anger problems. Center for Community Counseling helps for low cost or no cost. These people with it, they help parents control their anger problems. It is a great thing for our community. This fundraiser helps support Center for Community Counseling. And the best thing for mental health is comedy. I've gone years and years, I've gone to this event. It is a lot of fun. It's laughs, it's giggles, and supports a great cause. So if you're not doing anything this Saturday night, come to the center, or come support the Center for Community Counseling at the Wildish Theater. That's the 14th, and the time is
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Go have some dinner. Come have some fun there. They actually have, you can't bring into the studio, they do have some wine and beer there and little snacks. All of this goes to support this wonderful, wonderful organization. And let me tell you, we have incredible amounts of counselors and psychiatrists that volunteer their time. How many hours a year or a month do we have volunteer time for help?
Oh, it's about 3,000 hours annually that we volunteers donate their time to see clients.
And how many folks do you see on an annual basis, individual folks? Not individual appointments, but individual folks.
It's anywhere between 300 and 500 folks that we see annually that we support and offer them long-term individual counseling for as long as they need it. You know, sometimes people need support. Other agencies in town have limitations on how many sessions that you can actually get. The Center for Community Counseling doesn't do that. We're there to support people for as long as they need that support.
Who's eligible?
Yeah.
People who are eligible are people with limited incomes who don't have anywhere else to go. So we do see a few folks with OHP, but we encourage people to utilize their insurance if they have insurance. So for the most part, it's folks without insurance or people who might have catastrophic insurance who have very, very high copays and can't afford those copays. Or sometimes there's limitations on how many counseling sessions that you can actually get with your insurance. Maybe like you only get 10 or 20. We don't do that. If you need more sessions annually, then we'll offer you more sessions.
Okay, so
Saturday night, Wildest Theater in Springfield. $25.
25 bucks.
$25, 7 comedians.
7 comedians. That works out to be what? Less than $4 a comedian. Wow, what a bargain.
It's a bargain.
Should they, I mean, you've seen it. Does it sell out? Should people get advance tickets?
It gets pretty crowded. It's really good to get pre-get tickets, and where would we get those at?
So you just go to wildesttheater.com to get your tickets, and I certainly advise getting your tickets early. Last year we were about 10 seats shy of selling out, and I'm confident with all the comedians we have this year we're going to sell out.
How many did you have last year?
How many comedians did we have last year? We had 6 comedians last year.
Oh, so now one more.
Yes.
You'll definitely sell out.
Yes.
And it's, like I said, a lot of fun. Fun for a great cause. Saturday night, 7 o'clock, Wildest Theater, wildest.com.
Wildesttheater.com. Get your tickets.
If you're somebody that thinks you qualify and maybe you've registered, yourself as somebody who maybe needs a little bit of, some therapy, somebody to talk to, how do they get that ball rolling where they can go to the community and the center?
So if you're interested in services from the Center for Community Counseling, you can go to ccceugene.org. And you can click on our website and get some information there. You can also call us at 541-344-0620, and we're happy to tell you more about our services and how you can get hooked up to those services.
Okay. All right.
Or if you just want to do an outright donation to Center for Community Counseling, that would be appreciated very, very much.
That'll work as well.
Yes.
I'm sure you've made a couple.
Every year, yes, definitely.
All right, thank you, too, for coming in. George and Grace, the George and Gracie Show on the Wake Up Call, and that is about all we have for today. Thanks to Dave for coming in, Dave the Wave, and Julie from Lucky Paws, Tammy Brandon, and back there, Debbie G. Got everything started in the 6 o'clock hour. When we meet again tomorrow, it'll be 6:05, bright and early. If you have a couple of minutes to share with us, we'd love to return the favor. It's 11:20 KPNW. We'll see you then.
You can't hurry love, but you can hurry down to Three Rivers Casino Resort this May to relive the greatest hits of the 50s and 60s. You guessed it. The Supremes and the Drifters are live in concert May 21st and 22nd in Florence. Tickets are only $14.99 and $19.99. Visit threeriverscasino.com to reserve your seats now. Come make some magic moments at Three Rivers Casino Resort this May. Do you feel the need for speed? Race over to Three Rivers Casino and enter our exciting $25,000 Polaris Slingshot giveaway. Earn entries for a brand new Polaris Slingshot now through May 28th in Florence and Coos Bay. Drawing takes place May 28th in Florence, so don't delay. Visit threeriverscasino.com for details. We live life in the fast lane at Three Rivers Casino, where things are luckier here.
This is Bud Pierce, candidate for governor. I want to thank all the people who have supported me. My wife Selma and I are honored. We're near the end of the campaign and charges are flying. I want to be clear with you. As a doctor, I want everyone to have health care for their sake, but I've never backed Obamacare. It's shameful of Al and Allie to claim I have, but that's what desperate career politicians do. Unlike Al and Allie, I have never given to the Democratic machine known as the Democratic National Committee or chaired a group that sent out a voter guide endorsing 30 Democrats over Republicans, including Speaker Tina Kotek, one of the most liberal Portland legislators in our history. As a Marine, I always say what I mean, and I mean what I say. As an outsider, I promise to be fair but firm in moving our state government in a different direction. Less spending, more support to small business, better graduation rates, defending the Second Amendment, and more honesty with Oregonians. I ask for your support. Thank you.
Paid for by Bud Pierce for a Better Oregon.
We report, you decide. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pam Puso. Here's a voter Donald Trump can count on.
I just believe that he will not be bought off or intimidated by anybody.
That man in West Virginia, where Republican and Democratic primaries are being held. Fox's John Decker has more live.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is hoping to keep his long-shot bid for the Democratic presidential nomination alive with the win in West Virginia. Polls have shown Sanders leading Hillary Clinton, who has faced a backlash in the state for saying in March that she would put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business. On the Republican side, presumptive nominee Donald Trump is expected to win West Virginia handily. Republicans in Nebraska will also make their presidential pick today, but turnout could be smaller than expected, with Trump the lone candidate left in the Republican race. Pam?
Thanks, John. The White House says there won't be an apology when President Obama becomes the first sitting president to visit Hiroshima. An estimated 80,000 people were killed when an atomic bomb was dropped on the Japanese city near the end of World War II.
We offer our heartfelt welcome to President Obama's decision to visit Hiroshima.
Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe through a translator. A Baltimore police officer charged in the Freddie Gray case has chosen to have his case heard by a judge rather than a jury. Officer Edward Nero's trial is scheduled to start this week. A New Jersey man who had plans to travel to the Middle East to join ISIS is about to learn his fate. Alaa Sadeh allowed his brother to buy a plane ticket with his credit card. Authorities also say he told a friend to lie if questioned by the FBI.
Authorities say they talked about building pressure cooker bombs and hitting targets in New York City or staging an attack on